including our former Vice President, Mr. Enoch Kabindele, His Royal Highness Chief Mumbi, our Foreign Affairs Minister, the Secretary to the Cabinet, and all others involved in the search for a reasonable, inclusive, and amicable resolution over the unfortunate impasse relating to the state funeral. We express sincere gratitude to President Cyril Ramaphosa and the people of South Africa for their exceptional cooperation and indeed compassion. We acknowledge those citizens, including business owners, whose operations have been affected during this difficult time. We thank you for your resilience, patience, solidarity, and calmness during this time. As you are all aware, our government has made numerous efforts to engage the family and representatives of the late president in order to reach consensus in this matter. By last Sunday, the 15th of June, a mutual understanding was achieved and expressed through the joint press briefing held in South Africa. This breakthrough brought relief to the nation, and we were prepared to receive the remains of the late 6th Republican President on Wednesday, 18th of June. It was agreed that this was to be followed by programs that would have culminated in a dignified burial on Monday, the 23rd of June. By virtue of this positive development, we extended the mourning period by another 9 days, and we began to fulfill all of our commitments towards the state funeral with full honors. Yesterday, June 18th, the people of Zambia were prepared to receive the remains of our former president, but were surprised by the family's reversal of the agreed course of action. At our request, the South African government prepared extensively with military honors mounted by the South African Defense Force, who did so in vain, as the former president's body was not availed by the family for repatriation to Zambia. For this unfortunate situation, we extend our sincere apologies to President Ramaphosa, the government, and the people of South Africa. Fellow citizens, our country cannot afford a state of indefinite mourning. We've done everything possible to engage the family of our departed 6th Republican President, and we've reached a point where a clear decision has to be made. Given these circumstances, I therefore wish to inform the nation that as of the end of today, the 19th of June 2025, this particular national mourning period is officially over. This will allow the country to begin to return to some normalcy. Mr. Lungu was not only an ordinary citizen, but our 6th Republican President. While we recognize that he belongs to a family, he also belongs to the nation of Zambia. It is therefore correct that our 6th Republican President should be buried in Zambia with full honors and not in any other nation. In the meantime, we urge our citizens to maintain calm and orderliness. As we have stated before, during this difficult time, no amount of lawlessness will be tolerated. Let us remain united as a nation and maintain the peace we are known for. In this spirit, we say to the Lungu family, and indeed the people of Zambia, our hearts remain with you. Our doors as government remain open for further engagement as appropriate. May the soul of our departed former Republican President, Mr. Edgar Chagwa Lungu, rest in eternal peace. May God bless you all. May God bless Zambia.
Mazina yangu leo ni Nebo Betha Lungu. Ninebo nkashia kwa Edgar Chagwa Lungu. chagwa lungu emwa ichowandi ukunga ine panuma. Nomba, ndefu ayokulanda kuchalo cha Zambia, ukwati mufwe, ifyo ndelanda, munivele maningi, vamene vunufunola vila. Nifuna kulavila kuti, uyu muvili wachagwa, wamene utudoselana, pali zino ntawi. Taoneka monga seo lomba tawika mumanja ya mwine Mulungu, niya kuti azive viti kuti tichite. Pali zino ntawi, tifuna tinkale pasi tikambilane munga banja, tizive viti kuti tichite. Osati seo te banja, tuodoselana na boma. Tifuna kuti tinkale pamozi, tike maganizo pamozi. Lomba tikunga kuva kuti mailo statement ya chinja, mailo statement ya chinja. Lomba seo te wabanja, titolepo chinji. So, pora vila vonse hivyo. That's why, amakebi Zulu, nievunu pasa mpamvu, neo ne sister wao. Kuti atilavirire, ziko la Zambia, viti kuti vikonkepo vitufuna kuti tichite. Nineo nuwa pa mpamvu amakebi. Ozitolera lini mpamvu mubeka bene.
Fellow countrymen and women, brothers, sisters, and everyone who's listening in or indeed watching us. This is a statement for and on behalf of the Lungu family relating to the burial and funeral of the late President Edgar Chagwa Lungu. As the public may be aware, we had engaged government on the arrangements relating to the burial of the late 6th Republican President of the Republic of Zambia, President Edgar Chagwa Lungu. Following a joint briefing between family and government, we came to an agreed position that the mortal remains of President Edgar Chagwa Lungu would be repatriated today, the 18th of June, 2025. It was agreed, among other things, that the body would at all times lay in state at the official residence of the deceased in Hichilema. It was further agreed that parties would jointly make decisions upon consultation. However, the family has noted with regret that there have been attempts to subvert the spirit of the agreement that the family and the government got into by engagement into the following on the part of the government. On the 16th of June 2025, a statement to the public was released by Road Development Agency stating that they would be carrying out repair works of the road from Crossroads 7 kilometers onwards. As the public may know, this is a road that leads to Hichilema, the official residence of the former president. It is also part of the program and agreement that at all times the body would be moving from Hichilema to Mulungushi Conference Center for purposes of body viewing, the state funeral, as well as the burial service on the 23rd. However, the notice from RDA put it across that the road would be under maintenance. When this was brought to our attention, we advised the Secretary to the Cabinet that we weren't comfortable with these works as they tended to go against the agreement that we had. When this was brought to their attention, the said works were suspended until further notice. However, on the 17th of June 2025, the Secretary to the Cabinet issued a statement restricting people from receiving or at least witnessing the arrival of the remains of the former president. This notice was issued without consultation with the family, and further, no opportunity whatsoever was given to the family to indicate whom they wished to invite, if at all the attendance was by invitation, nor were they given any chance to say anything as regards the said invitation. When the Secretary to the Cabinet was engaged, he only stated that there were security concerns, which concerns still have not been stated to the family. Following that statement, The next thing was that there was a program for the arrival of the body at Kenneth Kaunda International Airport. This program suggested that upon arrival at Kenneth Kaunda International Airport, the body would be taken to a designated place for a church service, and thereafter it would be received by President Hakainde Hichilema at the airport. This position was not an agreed position with the family, and the program was made without consultation with the family. When this matter was made known to the Secretary to the Cabinet, he stated that the same was released in error and was a draft, and as such should not have been released. Before long, yet another statement, which they termed a combined program, was released, which essentially contained the same, but further went to suggest that on Thursday, the 19th of June 2025, President Hakainde Hichilema would lead the body viewing at Mulungushi International Conference Center. This program as well was arrived at without consultation with the family. For this reason and many more, the family finds it very difficult to believe that the government will stick to their end of the agreement, and have resolved, sadly so, that the mortal remains of President Edgar Chagwa Lungu will not return home today. It is our hope that someday his remains will be repatriated back home and buried. I thank you.
Good evening and welcome to today's daily update. Today we've had major announcement from the head of state, President Hakainde Hichilema, who has effectively cancelled the period of national mourning. You are aware that the period of national mourning is expected to go up to 23rd June 2025, when the remains of the late president were due to be interred. The body should have arrived yesterday. A major glitch occurred when the family felt very strongly that the agreement was breached and was in the process literally of being disregarded, and the family held back despite their last-minute preparedness. In fact, the advance party was already at the airport. The family members had all packed. Everyone had packed to leave. Even in the video, you can see everyone was dressed in black and chitenge. Everyone was about to leave, but these developments could not proceed. The Secretary to Cabinet had pledged that the release program that he had released, he was going to have it cancelled. Lucky enough, he proceeded to cancel it, and he sent the family the notice that the program was cancelled, and he pledged that as soon as it was daybreak and he had consulted with State House, before the departure of the family by 9-10 hours, that they will have a full agreed program, at least a skeleton agreement program will be issued, contrary to the earlier one that was issued and cancelled the previous night. At the time of departure at 10 o'clock, there was no program in sight, and Secretary to Cabinet couldn't guarantee anymore that there was any other program, and they said they were just expecting for the body to arrive, despite the concerns that the family raised. Today, President Hakainde Hichilema has cancelled the period of national mourning, is blaming the family for the debacle and crisis, and that's what I want us to discuss. I think the president is totally being unfair. First, let's recount. Unfortunately, we have to go back. Since 2021, he has mistreated his friend. He has mistreated his predecessor. He has not allowed his predecessor to go for medical treatment, other than the one that took place in 2022. Yet President Edgar Lungu had a condition that required him to see specialized treatment or medical checkup at least once every 6 months. From 2022, President Edgar Lungu was denied an opportunity to go for medical treatment. Even one time he was put off the plane. We've circulated that picture where in one time they couldn't even allow him to access the VIP, and he was standing outside with his lawyer, Jonas Zimba, who had rushed to the airport when he heard that the president was denied entry. So there's been a catalogue of events. The last time the president left for medical treatment, you know that they even fired a gentleman called Paul Kasongo from the National Airport, who was aviation security manager on duty. They fired him because he allowed President Lungu to go. Secretary to Cabinet has been insisting that he left with the blessings of the state. The state was aware, and they cite the poor doctor, Professor Ngoma, who they say, had brought, had informed government of his travel, and government was aware, but they said President Lungu had stated that he was going to meet his own costs. But we saw how hard they tried. That day, on January 20, what saved the day was the arrival of the United Nations Special Rapporteur, Irene Khan. There were so many dignitaries at the time, so many police officers, and I think government was embarrassed when they attempted to stop the president from traveling, and they blamed the aviation security manager, Paul Kasonde, who they immediately suspended when President Lungu left, and they proceeded to fire him. Kasonde has since sued the national airports for wrongful dismissal. He says, I didn't do anything wrong. The president was presented himself and allowed him to go through. He had been cleared by immigration and he had the ticket. He has been fired for that. The state wished to purport that President Edgar Lungu left with their, knowledge or authority, when in fact not. I narrated last week, how President Edgar Lungu left that day. They left home, they didn't buy a ticket, they didn't alert anyone, they just turned up with ADC, and others, and they just turned up at the airport and bought a ticket at the last minute when they were trying to establish what it was, and the special rapporteur had arrived. I think there was no adequate time, and the president was lucky enough to have jumped on the plane and left for South Africa. He's been in South Africa since January 20th, 2025. So the last 6 months, almost 7 months, President Lungu has been in South Africa until the day of his demise on 5th June 2025. During the entire period, no one from government went to see him. No one from government bothered to find out how he was doing. But he was a subject of ridicule. His medical status was discussed at a press conference by Tabo Kawana. They planted my dear brother Clement, Honorable Clement, who tabled former registrar, who tabled the request for the state to demonstrate where President Edgar Lungu was. Was he really in hospital? Was he really receiving medical treatment in South Africa? They forced Ministry of Health to issue numerous statements on the status of the late president. In fact, government had to even disown Kawana's statement when Kawana issued a statement that the president was undergoing a cancer treatment in South Africa. And government said it was his personal view. They had to issue an official statement and distance themselves from Kawana's statement. We cannot pretend there are no issues. The issues are there. The power is in how you resolve them. The late president has died. How do we put him to rest with dignity? How do we put him to rest with honor? And like my dear brother, John Sangwa, State Council, who was on the program here yesterday, he made it very clear that the family who have primarily lost in this process should drive the process. Their wishes should be taken into account, even when the state is giving him state honors and state a ceremony that accompanies a state funeral. There should be a deliberate recognition to the needs and requests of the family. And it is good that the president sent in emissaries to resolve this issue. Let's track back again before I open the phone lines and you debate, because the president is blaming the family squarely. So when the president died, the president was silent. He never issued a statement until 7 days later. When he died, there was no official communication from the state. President Edgar Lungu died at 06 hours. The family waited for an official announcement at 9, at 10, at 11, at 12. There was no official communication. Personally, when I was woken up deep in the night, because when the president died at 06 hours, not aware, it was something like 21 hours here. And I went to sleep. But around midnight, I was woken up because now it was around 10, 11 in Zambia. And I was alerted by media speculation that the late president had died. And I contacted the family. The family, I was informed that an unfortunate incident had occurred, but they had communicated with the state and they were waiting for the state to make the official announcement, because this was Zambia's 6th president. There was no official announcement until newspapers, I remember Crown TV quoting family members, grieving family members, and I think Diamond TV even broke the news that the late president had died. So I persuaded the family. I said, we cannot have the remains of the late president, the tragic loss of the president, announced by blogs and media outlets, instead officially either by the family or the state. So that is an impromptu video you saw where Honorable Tarsila Lungu quickly just put herself together, despite grieving, despite the loss that she had just suffered, flanked by her husband, made the announcement that the late president had died, and he had died at 06 hours at a hospital mediclinic in Pretoria. So first, he was denied an official opportunity to be recognized as Zambia's 6th president, and his demise. It was announced by the family. And it took 48 hours for any semblance of official recognition. But the following day, Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation, Mulambo Haimbe, arrived in South Africa, and they had the preliminary meeting with Honorable Makebi Zulu, who the family had now appointed as spokesperson. Makebi Zulu has been in South Africa the last 6 months with Honorable Msukwa, and they were tending, with the family, the president, and they were at his bedside, or when he was feeling better, he was taking walks, they were together. When he was having anything else, for the last 6 months, they were there with the family. For Mama Esther Lungu, you can even credit her, because every time she even had the court case, she left the husband. She left the president back home, and she came to court, attended the court session, then flew back. The entire 6 months, you would see that she would occasionally fly back between Zambia and South Africa. So here we are. Mulambo Haimbe comes, and the president has died, and his main condition is that the president needs this body because he has to announce the period of national mourning. And first of all, the attitude was terrible. They were just focused on the body. And the family said, wait, there are issues here. Do you even know how we'll, for example, pay the bills, the medical bills that are here? Government has been absent, and we just can't relocate. You are saying the body has to leave tomorrow. No. We have had a life the last 6 months here. We just can't relocate the body just like that. No. The body needs to be in Zambia by Saturday. The president has to declare a period of national mourning, or at most Sunday. So they said, maybe the tempers are too high. Let's meet tomorrow. So they met on Saturday. On Saturday, Mulambo Haimbe was extremely insistent. He said, look, there's no negotiation here. Let the remains of the late president be transported tomorrow. We've got a ZAF plane. We've got tickets for all of you, ZAF plane, and those that are not in the entourage, tickets can be bought. But everyone has to relocate to Lusaka and Umona and discuss whatever your concerns are in Lusaka. So the family said no. In fact, by then on Saturday, the family had received this official request from the Zambian community in South Africa, where they said, before the remains of the late president are taken, can we have a church service? I saw some paid blogger mocking that how could South Africa host a funeral without the body. I have never attended any of those services with the body in there. Usually the body remains with the undertaker because of the paperwork required with the embassy, with Ministry of Home Affairs, and I think some regulations in South Africa. So we usually host those memorial programs or require masses without the body. And the community in South Africa can confirm to you, I've never attended any of those events with the body brought to the ceremony and then the body again taken away. I think I haven't. The one I attended at the chapel was at the undertaker for Honorable Anderson Mazoka in 2006. I remember that one because the funeral, the church service was at the chapel where the undertaker is. I think there was a body viewing because the ceremony was held at the undertaker's chapel. So it's not uncommon that you can have a church service require mass without the body. I think that is what has been happening. Someone was mocking that, even casting doubt if the late president had died. You know, what mockery and what insensitive remarks they can make. But so those talks broke down. We communicated to the nation that Mlambo Haimbe was here. The body is not coming as anticipated. Probably government put out a date of Wednesday the following week. I think I'll look at the calendar that following Wednesday. So on Monday, as we were preparing to have this church service with the Zambian community in South Africa, we're hosting, Beauty and a group, Father Harrison Mulenga and his group, and the Zambian Association to plan, hammer out a program and plan just how it will be done. We're informed that government had sent a fresh delegation. And the negotiators immediately left any other program and rushed to meet the delegation of the state. The delegation turned out to be Honorable Patrick Kangwa, who was escorting two emissaries in Enoch Kavindele, former vice president, and Leslie Mbula, former secretary to cabinet and former Zambia's high commissioner to South Africa. There was immediate rejection of the emissaries because these emissaries have been insulting the late president. Even as late as a week before, one of them had issued some disparaging remarks against the late president. So they rejected the emissaries, that these are not people we can speak to, the ones that hold the late president in contempt. I saw the president even saying, our former vice president. But your former vice president has misconducted himself in supporting you by disparaging other stakeholders. So it was rejected. The meeting failed. Later in the day, I think recognition had been given to Secretary to Cabinet, Patrick Kangwa, to now be the lead negotiator. And the two vice presidents did not attend the later meeting that took place. On Tuesday, following the church service that took place, dignified church service that took place at the cathedral in Pretoria, Catholic Cathedral, and you saw how good that program was. We're glad that government delegation attended, led by Secretary to Cabinet, but with the two emissaries, Enoch Kavindele and Leslie Mbula. Following that wonderful program, very respectful, proper honor given to the late president, 7 Catholic priests, Zambian priests based in South Africa, wherever they were, traveled and officiated at that ceremony, led by Father Harrison Mulenga. And the Zambian community turned out in large numbers to honor the late president. It was very good. In the evenings, there was a meeting that was held between the family and the family of President Edgar Lungu. This time, the family had backed down on their concerns around the special emissaries of President Hakainde Hichilema, who was Enoch Kavindele and Leslie Mbula. They said, in the interest of the nation and to respect the office of the president, because President Hakainde Hichilema, despite our objection, has appointed these two men as special emissaries. So we will allow them in the meeting. And the meeting, began. The concerns were raised. The date was rescheduled when the remains would come, because at the church service, the family spokesperson, Honorable Makebi Zulu, announced at the church service that the remains will not be coming to Lusaka as scheduled on Wednesday because of family concerns. The matters of concerns had not been resolved, and the talk was not complete. So the talks started, and as they were negotiating, more people arrived. One of the people to have arrived is His Royal Highness Chief Mumbi, who presides over an area where President Edgar Lungu comes from in Petauke. There was also, I mentioned that His Royal Highness Chief Mumbi was very close to President Lungu, and I remember hosting him for a period of 4 months when his son was afflicted by that cardiac issue. He had a cardiac issue, and a wonderful man. But he was now coming in his capacity as a member of, the House of Chiefs. He was not coming as a family member as he has been with the family of Edgar Lungu, but now he was coming as a member of the House of Chiefs. And when he began to insist that we have to bring our son's remains back home, the family even said, no, sir. In fact, you are supposed to be with us here. You are part of the family, not on the side of government. But whatever it is, the impasse continued. There were two key issues. Number one, that the remains of the late president must go to Kitwe on Ndola. Ndola, because there was a community of churches that had been praying with President Lungu the entire 6 months, hoping that he will recover, hoping that he will come home, hoping to strengthen him. They had been praying with him, and they had requested that please bring him here where we have been praying for him. And President Edgar Lungu was born on the Copper Belt in Kitwe. And there was another issue, that the body be taken to Petauke because he comes from Petauke. So that were the two contentious issues. The other one was that the body must lay in state the entire time that the body arrives in Zambia, that it will be taken to Chifwema at his residence, and that it will go to whichever programs it would go to during that period, but it lies in state at Chifwema. And the police and the soldiers, or whoever is conducting the ceremony, who guard the remains of the late president the entire time. Back and forth. On Sunday, we had the breakthrough. Arrival of Bishop Joshua Banda and others, I think, had strengthened the negotiating team. You now had more neutral people that could be trusted. And an agreement was reached out on 15th June 2025 that the remains of the late president will come on Wednesday, 18th June, and the family had backed down on some of the demands, such as to take the remains of the late president to the Copper Belt and to Petauke. They abandoned that. Then they began to, in fact, there's a draft program which was used as a negotiating tool. I've seen almost 3 draft programs, and the entire skeletal programs were hammered out as part of the agreement. What will happen when the body arrives, where it will lie, what happens on Thursday, Friday, it was all hammered out. Then a day before the body could arrive on Tuesday, late in the night, I was broadcasting here, telling everyone that we should mourn the late president. His remains comes back home tomorrow. I think let's give it dignity, honor. People should turn up and, like it is customary. People go to the airport. In the case of Levi Mwanawasa and Michael Sata, this government, I predicted, will be probably very restrictive, but we can line up along the streets without necessarily invading the airport as it has been done in the past. Maybe because I was good with President Mwanawasa died in office, so did Michael Sata. They all died in office. President Rupia Banda and President Frederick Chiluba, I think they died at home. Dr. Kaunda died at Maina Soko, so the circumstances were different. But so while we were preparing, and I was live on this broadcast, because I usually check, I saw an alert, Teta Mashimba, she's a PS at Cabinet Office. For those that are on social media, when I'm your friend on Facebook, friend, not at for an hour, friend, if you follow me or I follow you or we share or we accept, when I post something, an alert will come to your notifications if you've put your notifications on that Emmanuel Mwamba, your friend Emmanuel Mwamba has posted something. Then you click on it, you go there. So while I was broadcasting, I saw Teta Mashimba post the program. Now Teta Mashimba is permanent secretary, special duties at State House. So I looked at it. It was a program. I remember even telling my audience that there's a program that has been posted by State House, and I proceeded to read it. Without even looking at the details, I said, this is a good program. I said, it's good the president will be there to receive the remains. And there was a church service. I wondered about the church service, but I said, this appears to be a good program. What made me think it was a good program? Because it was highlighting that the remains of the late president will lie at Hichilema. So I think for me, that indicated that somehow the negotiations had worked and government was honoring its details. But while I was on the program, I was alerted that no. Remember the draft program, the president is only expected to appear. He will superintend over the funeral. But there are designated period when the president will officiate, such as, for example, when he will host his colleagues on Sunday to host his colleagues from the region for the VVIP program that was scheduled for Sunday. So I said, is that an issue? So while I was broadcasting, usually when I'm playing a video, I'm getting in touch and I'm responding to feedback live while I'm on the program. I was again alerted, no, there's been development. We are okay. That program you were reading has been cancelled. The Secretary of Cabinet says it was released in error. It's a mere draft. And that they will give us a program before we leave for Zambia tomorrow. So I said, okay, good. And I praised the spirit of give and take, the continued spirit of give and take. As soon as Secretary to Cabinet was alerted about this program, he said it was released in error and that it was a draft program. It turned out not to be. In fact, it turned out to be the only program that the state would release. So today, this evening, let me just refresh. President Hakainde Hichilema has cancelled the period of national mourning. The period of national mourning should have gone up to 23rd. He's cancelled it. And of interest is a notice from Parliament. I'm told they're tabling the draft constitution on Tuesday. So I think it's not even in his interest that we should have a period of national mourning, because a controversial document, the draft constitution, is being tabled to Parliament on Tuesday, 25th June 2025, the controversial document. But listen to what the president addressed us this evening. Then I invite you to call the number. I didn't put I've put the numbers there. You can call on that number on the program.
Including our former Vice President, Mr. Enoch Kabindele, His Royal Highness Chief Mumbi, our Foreign Affairs Minister, the Secretary to the Cabinet, and all others involved in the search for a reasonable, inclusive, and amicable resolution over the unfortunate impasse relating to the state funeral. We express sincere gratitude to President Cyril Ramaphosa and the people of South Africa for their exceptional cooperation and indeed compassion. We acknowledge those citizens, including business owners, whose operations have been affected during this difficult time. We thank you for your resilience, patience, solidarity, and calmness during this time. As you are all aware, our government has made numerous efforts to engage the family and representatives of the late president in order to reach consensus in this matter. Last Sunday, the 15th of June, a mutual understanding was achieved and expressed through the joint press briefing held in South Africa. This breakthrough brought relief to the nation, and we were prepared to receive the remains of the late 6th Republican president on Wednesday, 18th of June. It was agreed that this was to be followed by programs that would have culminated in a dignified burial on Monday, the 23rd of June. By virtue of this positive development, we extended the mourning period by another 9 days, and we began to fulfill all of our commitments towards the state funeral with full honors. Yesterday, June 18th, the people of Zambia were prepared to receive the remains of our former president, but were surprised by the family's reversal of the agreed course of action. At our request, the South African government prepared extensively with military honors mounted by the South African Defense Force, who did so in vain, as the former president's body was not availed by the family for repatriation to Zambia. For this unfortunate situation, we extend our sincere apologies to President Ramaphosa, the government, and the people of South Africa. Fellow citizens, our country cannot afford a state of indefinite mourning. We've done everything possible to engage the family of our departed 6th Republican president, and we've reached a point where a clear decision has to be made. Given these circumstances, I therefore wish to inform the nation that as of the end of today, the 19th of June 2025, this particular national mourning period is officially over. This will allow the country to begin to return to some normalcy. Mr. Lungu was not only an ordinary citizen, but our 6th Republican president. While we recognize that he belongs to a family, he also belongs to the nation of Zambia. It is therefore correct that our 6th Republican president should be buried in Zambia with full honors and not in any other nation. In the meantime, we urge our citizens to maintain calm and orderliness. As we have stated before, during this difficult time, no amount of lawlessness will be tolerated. Let us remain united as a nation and maintain the peace we are known for. In this spirit, we say to the Lungu family, and indeed the people of Zambia, our hearts remain with you. Our doors as government remain open for further engagement as appropriate. May the soul of our departed former Republican president, Mr. Edgar Chagwa Lungu, rest in eternal peace. May God bless you all. May God bless Zambia.
Mazina yangu ni Nebo Betha Lungu. Ninebo nkashia kwa Edgar Chagwa Lungu. Chagwa Lungu emwa ichowandi uko nka ine panuma. Nomba ndefu ayokulanda kuchalo cha Zambia uko ati mumfwe ifyondelanda munivele maningi vamene vunufunola vila. Nifuna kulavila kuti uyu muvili wa Chagwa wamene utudoselana pali zino ntawi taoneka monga seo lomba tawika mumanja ya mwine Mulungu ni ya kuti azive viti kuti tichite pali zino ntawi tifuna tinkhale pansi tikambirane munga banja tizive viti kuti tichite osati sewo te banja tiwodonserana na boma tifuna kuti tinkhale pamozi tiyike maganizo pamozi lomba tikunga kumva kuti mailo statement yachinja lomba sewo te banja titolepo chinji so polavira vonse hivyo. That's why amakebi Zulu niye bunupasa mpamvu neo ne sister wao kuti atilavirire ku ziko la Zambia viti kuti vikonkepo vitufuna kuti tichite nineo nuva pa mpamvu amakebi ozitolera lini mpamvu mubeka bene
Fellow countrymen and women, brothers, sisters, and everyone who's listening in or indeed watching us. This is a statement for and on behalf of the Lungu family relating to the burial and funeral of the late President Edgar Chagwa Lungu. As the public may be aware, we had engaged government on the arrangements relating to the burial of the late 6th Republican President of the Republic of Zambia, President Edgar Chagwa Lungu. Following a joint briefing between family and government, we came to an agreed position that the mortal remains of President Edgar Chagwa Lungu would be repatriated today, the 18th of June, 2025. It was agreed, among other things, that the body would at all times lay in state at the official residence of the deceased in Chifwema. It was further agreed that parties would jointly make decisions upon consultation. However, the family has noted with regret that there have been attempts to subvert the spirit of the agreement that the family and the government got into by engagement into the following on the part of the government. On the 16th of June 2025, a statement to the public was released by Road Development Agency stating that they would be carrying out repair works of the road from Crossroads 7 kilometers onwards. As the public may know, this is a road that leads to Chifwema, the official residence of the former president. It is also part of the program and agreement that at all times the body would be moving from Chifwema to Mulungushi Conference Center for purposes of body viewing, the state funeral, as well as the burial service on the 23rd. However, the notice from RDA put it across that the road would be under maintenance. When this was brought to our attention, we advised the Secretary to the Cabinet that we weren't comfortable with these works as they tended to go against the agreement that we had. When this was brought to their attention, the said works were suspended until further notice. However, on the 17th of June 2025, the Secretary to the Cabinet issued a statement restricting people from receiving or at least witnessing the arrival of the remains of the former president. This notice was issued without consultation with the family, and further, no opportunity whatsoever was given to the family to indicate whom they wished to invite, if at all the attendance was by invitation, nor were they given any chance to say anything as regards the said invitation. When the Secretary to the Cabinet was engaged, he only stated that there were security concerns, which concerns still have not been stated to the family. Following that statement, the next thing was that there was a program for the arrival of the body at Kenneth Kaunda International Airport. This program suggested that upon arrival at Kenneth Kaunda International Airport, the body would be taken to a designated place for a church service, and thereafter it would be received by President Hakainde Hichilema at the airport. This position was not an agreed position with the family, and the program was made without consultation with the family. When this matter was made known to the Secretary to the Cabinet, he stated that the same was released in error and was a draft, and as such should not have been released. Before long, yet another statement, which they termed a combined program, was released, which essentially contained the same, but further went to suggest that on Thursday, the 19th of June 2025, President Hakainde Hichilema would lead the body viewing at Mulungushi International Conference Center. This program, as well, was arrived at without consultation with the family. For this reason and many more, the family finds it very difficult to believe that the government will stick to their end of the agreement and have resolved, sadly so, that the mortal remains of President Edgar Chagwa Lungu will not return home today. It is our hope that someday his remains will be repatriated back home and buried. I thank you.
Thank you very much. We have the first caller. Caller, identify yourself and make your contributions. As you can see, there is a queue of calls already. Be brief.
Thank you very much, Ambassador Mwamba. My name is Patrick, and I'm calling you from Sweden.
Patrick, make your contribution.
Yes, my contribution will be in 2 minutes, but it is in twofold.
Okay.
And I think the first part of my contribution, I'd want it to be objective, but then the second part, I just want to congratulate you. And the first part of my contribution is, Ambassador Mwamba, I would really want to understand your perspective or your point of view at this stage, having a situation where the president has now cancelled the National Day or the period of national mourning. What, in your view, is the best way to move forward now?
Thank you.
That is the first objective question that I would want to get your view on. Then the other part of my contribution to this program is simply to congratulate you. I think by 15 years ago, Zambia on record successfully had 3 people or 3 persons would classify as good spin doctors. And I can congratulate you now that you are one of the living legends that knows how to put stories in a certain way. So congratulations, Ambassador. You're doing very well and you're living up to your name, the great spin doctor, Emmanuel.
Thank you very much, my brother. I just tried to present the truth, and I tried to present the other side of the story. I don't purposefully begin to engage in, I'll answer that. Good evening, please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Good evening, Ambassador Mwamba. Thank you so much. This is Alfred J. Yombwe, calling from Lusaka. Mr.
Yombwe, just kindly speak up. Last time I connected the phones through my system that you can be audible, I had this lag and we didn't communicate. I haven't had time to resolve that lag. So I have to put up this phone to a headset, as you have seen, to a microphone. But this requires that you speak out, you speak louder. Thank you, Mr. Yombwe. Make your contributions.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can. Thank you.
All right, thank you. It's, you know, the decision the president which has made this evening, it's very, very unfortunate that in his decision, he has failed to provide leadership and he has failed to show wisdom in his decision making. Because as a leader, you don't leave things hanging. You have to resolve the matter to its fullest or to its conclusion. But unfortunately, our president and his team of advisors, they have failed to do that. In that, I haven't seen wisdom, I haven't seen leadership. Because the president can't tell us that he can't compromise on just 2 simple things the family requested for. He can't just say, okay, I'm not wanted on this funeral. Okay, so let me stay away. And let me just receive the dignitaries who come his fellow presidents from across the world. It was as simple as that. He can do that. Is he telling me that he can't compromise on the family and the government to agree on the programming? Is he telling me that he can't do those two things? Two simple things. I'm very much disappointed, but it was expected. Our friends in UPND, they're just like this. It's very unfortunate. He has failed to provide leadership. Yeah. Let's just add our ECO somewhere else. Then you accord him the respect it deserves when a normal government resumes power. Because with HH as I said, we don't expect anything good where ECO's family is concerned or where ECO PF is concerned. He's so bitter about PF and ECO. I don't know why.
Okay. Thank you very much. In fact, one of the persons who just watched the broadcast and heard the president speak, his immediate reaction is, now bakateka wambo kubomfia chifukushkwati wantu warefu bafuidilwe. You know, like there's no space for the president to demonstrate, like the caller said. Now wamfia chifukushi. Good evening. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Good evening, Ambassador Mwamba. How are you? Dr. Nkoma here from South Africa.
Oh, my dear brother, Dr. Nkoma from Durban, South Africa.
Yes, sir.
My brother, good to hear from you. What would be your contributions?
My contribution is a question to you, and
Thank you.
Then a contribution. We understand that the burial site or the grave has already been prepared. Now that the national day or the national mourning period has been called off, what happens to the grave site that has already been dug? That's my first one. The second one is the way forward. When the family if the family decides to bring the body, let's say next week or a week after or next year, will they still host a state funeral? I thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you, Doc, for calling. Dr. Nkoma is one of those senior Zambians in South Africa, and is a man of God. Him and his wife are a couple of God, and they own a church in Durban. We celebrate their lives. Good evening. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Good evening, Mr. Ambassador.
Good evening.
Yeah, the thing is, I want to answer to the previous caller. You see, Mr. Ambassador, there is nowhere where the head of state, where the presidents will be coming into Zambia and they will be received maybe by you or maybe by Mr. Robinda. It's not possible. So, for the president, what he has announced, I think I congratulate the president. He has made a very good decision because we can't hold the country to ransom. We need to move on. We need to move on. So for what the president has done to my side, Mr. Ambassador, actually he has done something nice.
What is nice about that decision?
About that decision, because of, you see, you guys, I don't know, sometimes I wonder, sometimes let me see.
Tell us, Kabir, the audience is listening, what is nice about the decision of the president? Don't start attacking me. I just want to know, according to you.
Okay, fine. When I was still a president, whereby the country has to move on. Because of this confusion, we can't manage to be just to be mourning every day. No, it's not possible. Yeah. We have to move on, sir.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you, my brother. Good evening. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Good evening, Mr. Mwamba. This is Mainza calling you from Chipata.
Mr. Mainza, make your contribution, sir.
Thank you very much for this privilege, sir. It's on that I didn't follow you very well with what your program, but I would like to make a contribution over this program. I'm sure we are talking about the funeral we have for the Zambia, right?
You are just calling to any program without finding out what we are discussing.
Yeah. Is it not the program of the funeral we have in our country?
Mr. Mainza. Anyway, since you've called, let me help you. So tonight, the president cancelled the period of national mourning. It should have ended on 23rd. He has cited the collapse of the talks between the family and the state, and he has demonstrated in his view that he did everything possible to ensure that he mourned the late president. But he's cancelling this particular period of mourning and is hoping that this matter will be resolved later. But he has said he will not allow for the body to be buried elsewhere other than Zambia. That's what we are discussing.
Okay. Thank you very much for putting me in the right picture now. Yeah, Honorable Mwamba, there's one thing I would like to put it clear. Yes, the president has cancelled the
My brother, gather your thoughts. Gather your thoughts. There are so many people calling. Gather your thoughts. Hello, please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Hello?
Please tell us your name and where you are calling. Concerned citizen. Kindly make your remarks.
Yes, I'm calling from Osaka.
Thank you, concerned citizen.
Ambassador, what a missed opportunity. What a missed opportunity for the president to have offered leadership. What a missed opportunity for the president to have called for healing and unity among the country. I don't think we needed to be subjected to frustrations about mix-ups in protocols. I don't think we needed to be subjected to subtle scoldings or finger pointing at the family. I think this is not what the people needed. And to allude to just what the previous caller said, I think leadership needs to give clear direction and understanding, and we didn't see that from the head of state today. I am quite disappointed because I think the family is grieving, like John Sangwa said yesterday. The family is grieving and the family is hurting. We need to gather around the family first and ensure that our former president is buried in dignity. I saw a missed opportunity for statesmanship today.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. You know, I find the remarks by the president today very, very dangerous. You know, when the president says these are the ones to blame, what he's saying is he's unleashing his entire infrastructure to then attack those he has pointed as a reason why things have not worked. In this case, this president has said the family are to blame. You will see the vitriol of attack against the people that are at their weakest in their lives, the people that are grieving at their life at the moment, the people that are in mourning. The address by the president is dangerous to that extent. You know, because Kateka Ngalandati knew you, ni mwamba alenga. First, all his 23 spokespersons will come to demonstrate how bad I am. Then his cadres, then his praise singers, then they'll line up, you know, those echo chambers they get from the church, from civil society to all echo what the president was saying. The remarks by the president, I found them dangerous to that extent. Good evening, please tell us your name and where you are calling us from. Panono first time bayama. Yes. Good evening, please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Calling from
South Africa, East London, Louis Kaunda.
Okay, East London, South Africa, Louis Kaunda. Make your contribution, my brother. London pona imwe.
Okay, for Ingalanda Fiwa Mwamba, Tinalando Kwewati. Apa Kwambira Kutina Fiwa. Chimfecha Ingalanda, Tinalando Kwewati, life Yavani spiritual. Bamwamba imwe tatoa mwanapona imwe, but Amasho Muranda. Aya Kwewati, Ale Nkumia. Nokungufisha wino. The Monara Unfa Wino Kunokondra Nkutari. Morasanga Tifin Firesera. Tamusho for Firesera. Edio, in the example in Ampera, so when I'm a Kubana, no, put engage with life in spiritual. Bambi, Tabatemu Kubana, Havana Vamona, Chimukatkove. In Deka take off your one, I'm Mokulila. So, on the one to Tavaish Mokova, life shared one spiritual. Kafire Moneka Kunse, Firesa Mukumoneka, Tashumoneka Nomo. Tashumoneka Nomo, same Fina Vantava Pepasana, Moprea Warias, Novale Pepata Moneka Nomo. Same one Avena Vantava Shasumina Muri Christo. What decision Diavo, Tayava Sumasana. So, Christo Alingo Vika Pantanch, Pantora to Afwa, Mano, no Crorisha Pantanch. Pantafua Ishina Yakodia Sequa. The Chakova to Wali Wula Christo, or Muturia Murifionse. The challenge of Indosho Rage, the Fiavoro, we have a point. Problem will take to Lina Wena, that take on to take on each Kumana, Jishua Jikumana Chichiva.
A grouping.
Papa Bill Saranga Chikumana group. Filisha Kovati, instead Pavio Muntumo, or Muferemure Kuchikako. Ilia Shinga Yaisarangwato, first story Yava Fiashi Veseva Post, Veseva Arandi, Torarolera Tatapanganda. Number Tata Varaisa, Avananga Vava Seven Tramuntu, Nara and Dirakova Fiash Tramuntu Nara and Tramuntu Naranda. Oda, but you would take to Aqua Tataquava, Wava watch Kumura White once you are president, once you are minister, once you are spokesperson. Pantram Tororisha Kuno, Mamaya Shinga Yaima, Quara Vamorara President Aranda, Rumba Inonista, President Aranda, Nava Chairman Navaranda, Shanyukona Varanda, State House Navaranda, Wakata Varanda, Rumba State of President Wangwang Wakanya Vana, Chimufurunga Yokura, Panokura or Tichungo, Pokovati, favorite Panga decision. Fise Fimoneki. Nombra Vena Varasa Varandra Munishra Imbi, but Ravena Varanda, Vena Varanda, Quefia Sambiro. Empire, Filaman Doka Sambiro, language Yakoyara, one of what Nash Pusana Varan. But once in a one book of Timo Gambira, Panch, Pisa Pamuru, Morasangati, Bakwetoru in Lumuru, so which means Idena Sangafa Quati. What the movie was the one having a Varandati. Varakongi Fundawi Fundita Pava.
Natasha Natasha Quiz London. They can now want to have Valande con Natasha San, I think Mwaumfuika. Let's Gumula Chabwa.
Quite definitely Rosha, not Rosha. Then Havana and Daida Vambo Grandama Amashua Pachito Chidi. Mufia Shell Frida Manamban. Basta organize Taradi Koruru, Valifia Kuranda and the Fiampo. So, Ubi Cafe Moko Aquaresa, Umine, Pantu, Gafi and Atlanta life is spiritual, the Pario Chafirua, Atesho Kutungurula, Bruselwa, not to take off to Quetawe, Tashipiena, Naishu Paco.
Okay, you're Natasha and again to ask Kunavambi. Thank you very much.
Baravan Tapa Pasano and Destako encourage Navashmako Zambia. Barava Pepasana, Barava Goma fasting, which time to see Pacharo, not Baba Ufiava, more professor. To the end of Pama gatekeepers, Zaba Pepere Charo, Tranch Pepera Coso in a Kuno, my 20 hours to Raram church. The whole day, it's all night prayer. So even today, I have to pray about it. In order to actually stand to sit for 12 hours to 1. Meeting pastor was almost soon. Watch Rumbra, Charoch and Switch Zambia. History Munjin. So, Nombana Chishu, Charoch and Swade Rumbra. uri vanerumbura nakateka ishina lyako pati musungu ati mumatanzi ambo kurumbura Zambia na president wesu so nachinjikatata since tiri mufasting anomara tukarara muchurch because I belong to Faith Church iratambika zvapengisa Faith Church yakunokuna kuistranda here so from 20 hours torerara muchurch up to Ruchero turakwata every year nga turetotera pali toista host conference ya pa John yes so tinachachindikata sana kai tuvavenja varumbura Zambia arumbura national yakwa president isharumbure president so tipakaperepo sana vashimapepo pakwavatela imwe mantungurushi ngavape paulo mpasho wakwaresa makumbi yako inga yaikira yaingira na imwe muntungurushi yaingira na muri vamkosa mitwe pakwavatela vile nakuti vavakonga vasauro vachinja kwa mashina emkwai.
Okay. Thank you very much. Let's take some other calls. Thank you, East London, and thank you for praying for our country. Thank you very much. Make your contribution. I was saying the remarks by the president were dangerous because he has unleashed these attacks. Before today, we've been commending him that he's been using words that build, words that unite. But when the president says, look, I tried, it's because of the family. They didn't bring the body. You know, and instead of comforting the family, instead of mourning and bereaving with the family, now they'll be a subject of attacks. Good evening, please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Yeah, my name is Joseph. I'm calling you from Sibata.
Joseph, let me just give. Please speak up, Joseph. Make your contribution.
Yeah, are you getting me clear now?
Yes, we are. Thank you.
Sure. Yeah, I think for me, my contribution will be simple, and I've got maybe two questions because I've been following this matter and I've also followed the clips that you have played. So one thing that I'm not clear with is from the main concerns that you have said, is I would like to be guided on did the family agree to say that on Sunday President HS should preside over the funeral?
Yes, they did.
As he is receiving his
dignitaries.
DVIP.
They did.
Yeah. So if they did, my question would be, why couldn't the government compromise and accept just that? Because if they were given that opportunity to say that on Sunday President HS should have presided over that funeral, for me, I don't think there was supposed to be a problem.
Yeah.
And one thing that I've observed is that I think there's also a problem from the side of the government. I don't want to say much, but from my observation, this is just my opinion.
Okay.
Because
Thank you very much.
Just abided by some of these things, just simple. I think this funeral could have been on Monday. We could have put him to rest. But now these are minor issues that I'm seeing that from the government side also they don't want to show to bring themselves down to adhere to the wishes of the family.
Yes.
So the other thing is that, like the previous caller said, to say that the president shouldn't have left this in suspense, because he has said to say that the period of national mourning is over. So now what next to the citizens?
Thank you, my brother. Thank you. Let me just do this. There's an urgent call. I'll come back to you. You can call back. Let me just play the video while I attend to this important call.
Number one, that the body of the late President Lungu shall be transported together with the family from Lanseria Airport in South Africa to Zambia on Wednesday, 18th June 2025, using a private charter made available to the family by well wishers. Secondly, that following the arrival and receipt of the body by family members in Lusaka, full military honors will be conducted at the Kenneth Kaunda International Airport, after which the body shall be taken to the funeral house in Chifwema, where it will lie instead. Thirdly, that the body of the late former president will be taken to Mulungushi International Conference Center on Thursday 19th June, Friday 20th June, and Saturday 21st June to enable members of the public to pay their last respects from 09 hours to 16 hours, after which it shall be returned on all days to the funeral house in Chifwema to lie instead. That the state funeral that will host foreign dignitaries shall be held at Mulungushi Conference Center on Sunday, 22nd June, and the body of former President Lungu shall be taken to the venue and returned to Hichilema after the event, where it will lie instead. That a valedictory session will be held at the Supreme Court grounds in honor of former President Lungu, a lawyer by profession, on Monday, 23rd June, to be followed by a church service on the same day in the showgrounds in Lusaka, one that would be conducted by His Grace Archbishop Alik Banda. That the body of the late former president shall always lie in state at the funeral house in Hichilema and only be taken away for the above stated functions during the day, after which it shall be returned to the funeral house every day to lie in state at the conclusion of these events. That the body of the late president shall always be accompanied by a relative, the aide-de-camp, and the former president's personal physician. That the period of national mourning shall be extended, and that the two parties shall always consult and agree on who speaks at all events. And further, to avoid the confusion that has been ongoing relating to the Patriotic Front Party, that Honorable Given Lubinda will speak on behalf of the Patriotic Front Party. It is important to emphasize that the family is proceeding based on the guarantees given by the government of the Republic of Zambia that they will not deviate from our agreement or betray the trust of the family and the wishes of the former president. The family hopes that this outcome will bring this matter to a close and avoid further trauma to the family and millions of affected ordinary Zambians. We wish to express our heartfelt gratitude to the Zambian people at home and away who gave the late former president their love, both in life and in death. Your outpouring of love has strengthened us and lightened our burden. We will.
Thank you. We have another caller. Sorry, caller, I've been waiting, but these videos help a lot in refreshing all of us in the light of the crisis and emotions that we remain issue based, and that our comments and commentaries are founded in facts. Make your contribution, my brother or sister. Hello? Oh, is my caller gone? I'm so sorry. The caller is gone.
No, I'm here.
Oh, please make your contributions.
Yes, this is Comrade Mukosa.
Oh, Comrade Mukosa. Yeah, make your contribution, my brother.
Yes, it is very unfortunate that as a country we have handled this funeral of our former head of state in this manner. As if our former head of state is the first one married as a former head of state. When we have Takarana Maliro Ambili, I'm a former head of state. It was a very simple thing because it's a better more done. Although we know that somehow Yasianago, because this our former head of state came back into active politics, and some people are looking at that as if he was mistreated, minus them realizing that he was a political opponent to other political parties that are not supporting PF. So it is very important that we are at the end of the day kwa family nao bakamba hivi na government ifuna kupaka vintu mbalo mwake but kwa spezela tupasiana when it's kufunso yana yoti we bali kuti bangabalingwe kwinango kuli konse, like the president has mentioned, balungu kwao ni kuno kulibe mlandu amene wanapanga muno muziko so anafe kuti wenze ba mwekizeo wakapena benze wafichu chivumunga mwene wanatavira bamwamba kwene baliri uko kapena mubwera litestiziwe
Mukosa
wanaenda wala wenze wanaenda ku hospital. So there's no need of looking for somewhere ku country inango kuti babadiniwe ku country kwinango.
Thank you, Mukosa. Finalize your thoughts, Mr. Mukosa, my dear brother. Finalize your thoughts.
Yes, we had political differences. It is normal in a democratic country, but it does not make us enemies. When we need to be united
as a country, I think that is what is supposed to be done. So when you look at the claims of the family of saying no maloti, why wapanga maloti, bamamba. Sure tileke kupanga maloti chifukwa kuti china maliro. Lodi ngati iyenda kuli balungu kuja lodi lina mapotholes kwamene waenda kuti ndiye kwenera zamboenda bodi kumazulo na kuseni. Stifunika kukonzako.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mkosa. Thank you very much, Mr. Mkosa. Thank you very much. Good evening. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from, and kindly be brief. Hello. Hello. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Hello.
Good evening. Please tell us your name. And, yes, good evening.
Good evening. Thank you.
Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from. Yes.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Kindly make your contributions.
Okay, yes. I want to remain anonymous.
Okay.
Sure. I want to thank you for the good work that you are doing.
Thank you. Thank you, Anonymous.
You are educating us, and a lot of us have been following you.
Thank you.
Coming to the issue at hand, I feel the pain is with us, as in us who are mourning. But for the people who don't feel the pain, to them it's just okay. So like today's address by our president, calling off the national mourning, it looked like in my own thinking, I'll think Naba won't fiako ichifukushi. You know, as a father, he wasn't supposed to do that because he had already given the period of national mourning up to Monday. Why didn't he let it just the national mourning continue up to Monday? If he was supposed to cancel, maybe he was supposed to cancel it on Monday to
not
say,
to
okay,
renew it.
We waited. This was the period that we were given as a national mourning. By why just cutting it off just like this? You know? But even by so doing, it doesn't mean that he's cut off from the people who are mourning. Mourning will still continue. The mourning will still continue at the funeral house. People will still gather. It doesn't mean that when he's called off the national mourning, then everything else will just come to a standstill. We'll stop mourning. We'll just, yes, they can go back to their various businesses doing their works, but for us who are mourning, we'll continue mourning, not until we bury our president. So I feel there's need for us just to unite. We just have to keep everything and pray to God just to give direction, because when you are a parent, even in a house, you are telling your child or children, you're not supposed to use okay, you are supposed to do this, but because of this, no. So we just leave everything to God and so that He should guide us. But for us who are mourning, it really hurts, like it pains. They just don't know the pain that we are going through. So they should just bear with us. They should just understand us.
Yeah. Okay, my sister. Thank you. Sorry, I was just monitoring this news from Lusaka. I think Honorable Given Lubinda has given instructions for our mourners at the party secretariat to disperse because of credible information that the police were mobilizing to come and disperse them violently and forcibly to be removed. So they voluntarily left the party secretariat. Good evening. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Yes, this is Pastor Moses from South Africa, Free State.
Thank you, Pastor Moses from Free State. Make your contribution, my brother.
Thank you very much, Honorable. Thank you very much for this opportunity. My contribution is, this is a dangerous thing to have. You have double-minded. All of us here, we are mourning, and the way he has done it shows that we don't have a leader in Zambia. Because he declared that the mourning, this one, how do you call this thing?
Mourning period.
Mourning period until 23, if I'm not mistaken. But from nowhere, Babu Fukushi. Then Baranda Mwanaka Sembe Kakuma again Wabula Wakobeka. But what has happened now, it doesn't show that not kwata umfiashi now. Umfiashi ngachita, so what about Abaledila? So which means he has forsaken the family of our president, President Edgar Lungu, which is not good. He has forsaken us as his children. So now who is going to sort out our problems? So like as for now, what is happening, Kuba Fiashiba Akainde, it doesn't make sense. If he really loved the man, then he was going to follow the wishes of the man. God said, if you love me, then follow my commandments. So this is the thing. It is showing that he did not love the man since from the beginning. If he loved the man, he was going to respect the family's wishes. That's what I can just say. Thank you very much, sir, without wasting much of time. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Atwakateka na wabomfye chifukushi na boba fireka wala batentungulushi tukwete. Good evening, please tell us your name and where you're calling us from. And mute your other device. Thank you.
Yes, I've done that.
Thank you.
Good evening, my brother.
Good evening.
Yes. Actually, you are doing a great job.
Thank you very much.
Yes. There is this member saying, mostly, but in terms of reality, they are real.
Yeah. Who send it? Correct.
So the pain that other people are claiming that they are going through this pain, they are not feeling it because it's not direct to them. Do you understand? The similar thing that we've been talking about, actually are the ones that have prolonged to go up to this far.
Yeah.
From the time they've been wanting to negotiate with the family. What has been so hard to hear what the owners of the person, the owners who are directly connected to him, they're the ones who've lost so much because soon they'll be paying school fees. Are we going to pay schools for them? They'll be wanting to eat. Are we going to feed them? No. So them, they've lost massively. Other people are saying they've lost. They are just doing it verbally for the sake of like. So
thank you, my brother. Thank you very much. Thank you. Make your contribution and be brief. There are so many people that wish to participate in the debate. Kindly make your contribution, but let it be brief. Good evening. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from. Yole Salet Palashan na imwe. And you make your contributions. Okay. Problem ilipoya yabakateka babebela twakateka mutalukeko panono namwe mukakwato obushiku bwenu bwa kutungulula ichichirilo na especially pasande ero mukaleta abaneno ama former presidents na ama presidents pasande chikaba chirilo chenu lelo mutalukeko panono muleke i state funeral ibe fifine elo mubili ukukalalala kung'anda efi alipo ifo fibili kwali na chimbi chakwe bati umubili batuka utwale kundola na kupeta uke ubuteko bwalikana bafamili nabo balisuminisha so apa chichi lipo chakwe bati bakateka batalukeko fe panono mwadi umfweli ashidio. Have we lost the Muyombe man? I'm so sorry. But you asked a question and I promptly answered it. Good evening. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
I'm calling you from South Africa.
Yes,
My name
sir.
is Morgan.
Morgan, make your contributions.
My contribution, Mr. Mwamba. I just want to, I don't know if it's a advice or what, or it's a contribution. Toward the things which is happening in Zambia between the government and our former president family. Mwe bantu mwe baliko kuntanshi kuli family ya kuli balungu. Then abantu abali kuli ba nani koma advisors kuli ba president tetumfwaiko solution yakwe bati mwaranshanya abafyashi bayatushako kozi nomba twanaka fwe mazambia twanaka tulese bani na mufifi yakwe bati aba batakata aba batitashani tekeni abafyashi bali abalali bali bombe nchito and once to appreciate. So if you talk about politics, again to waste to stenani for bantu for the security. To go in 2026. I want to marry when for 2021. That's how again for a cover bantu. I want to marry what of a security more. So Ngabati Pari campaign Akwabati. Babi on kugeni na kwa mapointa tien tushike abafyashi then fwe bantu ifweni fwe bakabwikisha po buteko ngani fwe bakabwe fwe bakafunya po buteko fwe bantu kutira turese bana
Uchachi nokusebana kwena na tusebana. Thank you very much, my brother. Please call.
Hello.
Good evening. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
This is Kapia in the US.
Kapia, make your contribution, my dear sister.
Honorable. If you want to learn that ukuchita politicize chidilo, this thing is just very simple and easy as just drinking water. Why is the government not listening? Why is the government not listening to the family? Why? That's the biggest question. What's there? Why the government is not agreeing to what the family is saying? That's the biggest question. Why? And this question raises a lot of concerns.
Please hold on.
A lot of concerns. Why is the president not listening? Why? Fish upire. Ama plans yabo. Fish ufubakwete. Why? Where is the law that states that no, the president ingatabakabeko ni state funeral? Where is it written? Tell us. Fish upire. To me, isi was grace ya kwalesa yadi kudisha, even in his death. So anything to do with evil practices, God is not going to allow. No, God is not going to allow that. To me, in my Catholic faith, I would call ECL a saint. The man sacrificed a lot for Mother Zambia, but what have we Zambians paid him back? To the extent of dying in exile, dying as a refugee? Really? Are we honest? Are we serious to ourselves? If at all, we owe him a very big apology. Now we just let the government just accept. In fact, let me just single it out. Let the president accept. Actually, say agree. Also, family fire. This thing, but the thing it's very embarrassing, very, very, very painful. Why? Why is it like this? I'm advisors wako president. It's very upsetting, especially us who are out here. I'm hating my country because of this president. He doesn't have a heart, a human heart. I don't know how I can describe this man.
Pray for him, my sister. Pray for him. Pray for him.
And I do that, honorable. I always do that, but at times, this is too much.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, my dear sister. Let me pick the other cause. Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you. Hello, good evening. Please tell us your name and where you are calling from. Hello. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from. We can hear you. Yeah, hello.
Hello.
Please contribute, make your contribution. Tell us where you are calling us from and your name, and make your contributions.
Thank you very much, Wamwamba Mrishani Neo
Michael Nanyuyo.
Michael Piri. You are my mentor.
Michael Piri, I'm grateful. Yeah, continue.
Yes, you are my mentor. What I want just to say is that the president again has missed the first opportunity when he addressed the nation, and now again today I was hoping that the president is going to say that I have heard all your requests, the Lungu family. Let's unite this country. The president is missing a point because our former president, Edgar Chagwa Lungu, he was the last surviving president. And every citizen, he is wishing that he should be given a dignity, befitting burial. But it seems like the president, he has used so much fukushi and is listening too much to people outside instead of his innermost. He should not listen to CR1. He should not listen to Tayari. He should not listen to the political advisors. He should not listen to the cadres who are always insulting someone who is dead. It's not our culture. It's not Zambian. But what we are seeing today, since 1964 to today, because President Edgar Lungu, he saved this country for 7 years. And in his leadership, he was a quiet person. He was a person who was listening. But the problem with our current president, he doesn't listen. He wants to do things as he wishes. What he could have done, let him just seek. If I were a president today, what I could have done, he could have even flown to South Africa to go and talk to Amai Esther Lungu and the family and harmonize everything there and come back together as a head of state. People would have said, yes, we've got a leader. But the way he came out, look at how now, like what you said, Wamwamba, Navaswakisha. And for sure, tomorrow you are going to see what will be happening. We won't be in peace. As long as you're a PF member, you won't be in peace. Because that's why, look at the way today, Secretariat, not Fumako Secretariat. To Afumako Secretariat, I was there to Afumako for the fear that the president, the cadres will come. And prior to that, they were organizing to come and beat us there. While we are mourning. But the president, he can't even tell his cadres that, no, we are mourning. If you look at, that's why the confusion started when the funeral happened. Honorable Given, our president, acting president, were given event. I salute them because together with Nawanagachinda, they declared 7 days of national mourning. It took almost 2 days for president to say we have declared national mourning. So it was not inconcurrent. Then again they extended. They opened the Vodia when there is already secretariat. it would have been harmonized everything. We need people who can help the president. And the other thing, as I conclude, Vamwamba, I don't know, where is our pastors? Where are the pastors? Where are the NGOs?
Or the church today issued, the church issued a statement. Michael Piri, at least you can save the church. They issued a statement, and I'll be reading it shortly. Thank you, Michael Piri. Let me take some other calls, and then I read the statement from the church to hear what the church is saying in this difficult period.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for according me that opportunity.
Thank you, my dear brother, and thank you for your good write-ups. Thank you for your good write-ups. Good evening. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Hichilema, Mourning district.
Sorry, you got cut. You got cut. Kambani, baba, Kambani.
Problem yankalira pati kuti maliro siyabwera almost 2 weeks.
Family babanja bana pempa ba president. Ati program yanu muone bamene tifuna Stephen abo kamba pa marilo benzo tukwa na ba president. Naye mwe bamene ba president mnankale mushe na bamene baenda mkaleko patari pangono. So ni amene ayo my issues. Yamene bafuniko chita resolve. Nshayishwe chitumbuka mbuya, nshayishwe chitumbuka. Thank you. Hello, please mute your other device and make your contributions.
Hello, Namamba. Louis on the line.
Yes, Louis, make your contribution, my brother, and let it be brief.
Okay. I just have a small contribution over this issue.
Yes.
I think one thing we are forgetting, because I'm hearing a lot of callers putting the blame on the president, putting the blame on the government. But one thing we're forgetting is that we are disturbing other activities. If you remember, when they announced his death, they said some other activities have been put on hold because we have a national mourning. So if you come to the issue of artists, they make money through having all forms of entertainment, all forms of entertainment that they...
Oh, we lost him. We lost him. I think what is clear is that the president has cancelled the period of national mourning because he declared it for the next 9 days. It's supposed to expire on 23rd Monday. So it looks like he has given up on resolving this matter between then and Monday. Good evening. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Good evening, Mr. Mamba.
Good evening.
Adrian calling you from Congo, DRC.
Adrian from DRC. Make your contribution, my brother.
I'm from Zambia. I'm just here I'm working from Congo, but from Zambia.
That is okay. Many of the people that are calling are in your space. The one from Sweden, Japan, people from the US, the guys from the UK. Everyone is calling from. The goodness with Facebook is you are worldwide.
Thank you so much. Mr. Mamba. I think
that is okay.
Okay, Warumba. Nah. Kubuya kulindi nywe Mr. Mngamba ipati yishupide uti nywe bono bapati amutwiha mutwehere gukona mu gisi yenu gisi jangu agabana benu agabana bangu nkinyi kambo malira mwaye muri mbwahere bwendirekwa ari mwego mwari mu government mwazo mu government uba opposition then jimwali labo kinywe bogwendire ahingo mboya andika kuba magambe ngamo nyobu na jisija zambia jasevana ndinyo masevana tamu ino bo msama
Adrian, continue. Make your contribution. If I begin to answer you while you are discussing, we'll take more time. Make your contribution. I can understand what you are saying about our country and the embarrassment that is caused to the country is all our embarrassment. And that President Hakainde Hichilema is our leader. Oh, Adrian has gone. Sorry, from the DRC. But I think we got the gist of what he's trying to say. I'll answer that. Hello, good evening. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Good evening, fine, thank you. This is Mr. Munenga calling you from Kafue.
Mr. Munenga from Kafue. My brother, make your contributions.
Thank you so much, Mr. Mwamba. How are you, sir?
Very well, but as you know, we are mourning. Although the mourning has been cancelled, we'll continue to mourn in privacy.
Yes, the funeral does not come to an end. It can be declared over, but the mourning period, people continue mourning and like.
True.
But my contribution this evening, Mr. Mwamba, is that, honestly speaking, let's not look at things from political point of view. Let's take things as human beings need to live. I'm not a politician. I follow what politicians are saying, what they are advising, what you are discussing, the way you are responding to each other. But my advice this evening on this platform, I'm calling you to advise from spiritual point of view. The President of the Republic, Dr. Chagwalungu, he is late, he is no more. No matter how long we take the funeral to be, no matter delay we are going to make, he will not come back to life. That is the reality. The next thing is that the position he was holding while in office, he was the overall boss for the whole country, Zambia. Meaning that in his absence, when he is not there, his predecessor, Hakainde Hichilema, is the overall boss who is to be respected as he was respected while in the office.
His successor, not predecessor, yeah.
Yes. HH has respected the family, has respected the PF, has respected everyone by taking time to listen together with the family and the PF members. But these partisans like the family and the PF member have not decided to respect him as the overall boss of the country. Honestly speaking, we are saying President HH is the chief mourner in this funeral that we are having. Because he is a friend. The person he succeeded is no more. He's not there. He's the chief mourner. He is the person to be recognized whenever someone comes to say, what are you going through, Zambians? When the other delegates from outside the country, if they happen to come in our country, they are not supposed to greet Tasira. They are not supposed to greet Madam Esther. The person to be greeted is HH because he is the overall boss, he is the chief mourner. The other thing is that, Mr. Mwamba, can you give a good counsel to Esther Lungu and Tasira? Don't cheat this girl. Don't cheat Madam Esther. Don't cheat them. Tell them the reality. Makebi Zuru and Given Rubinda, including you. You are adult. You are big people.
My brother, when you begin to insult us on this forum, we have some rules. We discuss issues. We don't come to insult us, discuss the issues that are here. I think enrich the debate. When you go offside, we will cut you. I think let's allow the debate to be mature. Make your contribution and tell us your name and where you are calling us from. Iyo twabomba, mute the other device and so that we can hear you clearly. I'm quiet.
So ichivipirewa mwamba aya mariro achitika mariro apusene kuna mariro tukwata yonse mariro yaapyashi varungu mariro ayo yachitika affect Zambia yonse but problem iri pakuti imwe aze va PF na family kusendere ayo mariro patina karimo yama members ya PF tamusendera ati mariro ya national so pamaliro yavarungu muri pamusendere pokuti president navantu vafwa okuti tatonareti yamadriyo twarechitarani kana matrement but if aze va-PF twakwatira pakafuka vakwe vati twambe kuchitirapo campaign nokuprema vapresident and chite chisuma so then turire varungu then twembeni varungu ngamureva vika South Africa ngamureva reta kaita prombashara ya private.
Yo, Natasha, this is not a funeral for the Patriotic Front. We should make it very clear. The demands are not coming from the Patriotic Front. The demands are coming from the family. You've heard my views. I've been very consistent that there is nothing insurmountable from the demands I've seen. There is nothing that should have caused this delay if there was leadership. What is lacking is leadership. Good evening. Please tell us your name and where you're calling us from.
Good evening, Ambassador. This is Chinyama. How are you?
Mr. Chinyama, good evening.
Thank you. I just wanted to make some contribution as well.
Kindly make your contributions.
Yes, Ambassador, I may be corrected, but my understanding is that the way governance operates, it involves the president. And now that the family was demanding that the president be detached from the funeral, it meant more like separating the whole governance from the funeral. So here we are now. The president has called off unfortunately has called off the funeral. I really didn't understand how people are figuring out to say, or the family was figuring out to say, they can detach the president without detaching the governance. You know? So really the system, the way it operates, how do you expect the president not to be part of the funeral when you want to send the former president with what he deserves with the whole governance system?
So thank you very much. Thank you very much. So yeah, there are people that think that it's not a state funeral if the president is absent. I don't think even the family says the president must be absent. It should be made very clear. They haven't said he should be absent, but they've proposed a prescription where, for example, the church service on Sunday will be hosted by the president, because there'll be people coming from the region, and they as family can't receive those dignitaries. It's a state function. And the family, in my view and in my understanding, have not dismissed the role of the president. The president is head of state. But we've had many state functions without the president. Okay? I buried Father Ignatius Mwebe in Kasama when I was PS. He was Catholic. He was a priest. He's former Zambia Episcopal Conference Secretary General. And when he died, Mr. Sata declared a state funeral for him. Mr. Sata didn't even come. The Catholic, in fact, he ran with that funeral. Good evening. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Hello, good evening. You're speaking to Mr. Muyembe from Zambia.
Mr. Muyembe, make your contribution, sir.
Okay. Well, personally, I'll speak from a personal perspective.
Do you have an official perspective?
No, I'll speak on a personal perspective.
Because when you say you want to speak in the personal perspective, it's like we've recognized that you have an official capacity, but you are speaking in you. But contribute. Let me not disturb you.
Okay. Personally, I'm not pleased with this decision that has been passed on by the president, because, well, you see, when it comes to people, more especially somebody of this caliber. We're looking at the former president of Zambia. We don't expect his spirit to rest in peace with all these type of things. I think I've been following this issue very well. The family simply requested that the people, they're going to dictate the people who are going to come for the funeral. They did not request for so many difficult things. But according to what I heard is that at the airport, the president is the one who was supposed to receive, and the family did not want that. And I think we know why the family is grieved. It's because of this issue of him wanting to seek medical attention abroad. And that was denied him. Even the time he got allowed, there's a story that passed where even the person who allowed him at the airport lost their job. Because of all these things, he had to be snuck out of the country just for medical attention. So all these things have created this enmity within the family. That's why they are so grieved, because they believe that if it wasn't for that, perhaps, just perhaps, he would have been still here. And I believe that the president has he should be more understanding. He should be more understanding that this, of course, there is a contribution or there is a reason to why they are reacting like this. Now, to cut the national mourning in between, it will spiritually affect not only him personally, but it will affect the country in a whole. Because if the president's spirit is not resting in peace, this is something that we've seen within smaller families, where we say somebody did not die in peace, and there's a whole lot of confusion that follows.
Thank you. Mr. Muyembe, thank you for your wonderful thoughts. Can you quickly summarize? Can you quickly summarize?
And I just hope that anything can turn around from this point, because even for former President Edgar Lungu to be at that level where he was, it takes a lot of spiritual intervention to get to that level, because it's not easy to be a president. You need to break so many barriers in the spiritual realm. So he's carrying a heavy load. And if darkness follows the country because of this, because he's not resting in eternal peace, let them blame nobody.
Thank you, Mr. Muyembe. Let's pick some calls. As you can see, I'd hoped to close at the hour, but we are past the hour, and the calls are incessant, and the calls are even more than. It's like Zambians wale for kwa kupeme na. Let's give them an opportunity. Wa peme ko, you know. Adrian from Mr. Adrian, kindly quickly wind up. You were speaking and you're allowed to speak in your language. Quickly contribute. No, Mr. Adrian, no, I didn't cut you. Make your contribution. No.
Mr. Mwamba, abambi ba party bajipanja PF. Magari mu government and ma protocols am government onse mulahi. Omwe mpakede uli utijandira ujitika nje. Ngenywe ko musora kujita complicated ntu kwamba kuchivana ba ECL bajale mu ma problem ngiri iwamba uzwawa bambi nanywe kutamugatali kutamawoti majani ujipaneji ajanika ujipani jeji bambi ba utarika bati bana mbo basi jala baya bajalira kulanganya ngwasho edi karungu mubasira problem kama wachuma politics mbunga atalika mbunga asia timaka asia manzira iboto makubona ka so kama langanya bana ba edi karungu amafami za edi karungu kama kwamba uti this time allow ni kuri mbomo betao au mumwe basimbe ulai amba uti nomponde ndera wawa au ndera wawa musoragu kuleta ma confusion mu family ya Edi Kalungu tamuli wali akugwa hape nemwali bantu ba wali akugwa habana nemwali kuba sorolera mulimbo bandika kusolera especially tasira lungu akubona family ya Edi Kalungu iboneka mbu taigese ba family ndimwe ba family nyebo muri ba party members tamuli ba family ba Edi Kalungu muri ba muri ndiswe twinde nebo utiswebo to support ejipani jimbi aninyo mu support ejipani jimbi noba party ga moye hagabo tumutana ku yibana ncho bamba amu ba control bana ocho ko tugomeneka butobana daman.
Thank you very much, Mr. Adrian. He's calling from DRC, and he's made his contribution. Now, I think we've separated the two issues between the PF and the family. The two are totally separate. Good evening. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
I would like to remain anonymous.
Thank you, my dear sister. I guess make your contribution.
Yes, please. It's very unfortunate that I've been listening some previous callers, and it's quite surprising to hear how emotional the men that have called in, that they become so emotionally charged. And what I'm trying I'm failing to understand is like we are failing to acknowledge that kudi chidilo. There's a bereavement and there's a family that is involved. We have completely, I think we are failing to acknowledge that there's a family, and we are failing to acknowledge how it feels to be mourning. Instead, we have judged, and we have even judged those that are supposed to be, just like the previous caller, who is saying, you are party members. Let the family, and I'm asking myself, as party members, don't we develop relationships? If I can't stand in for Mwamba when he's going through, and I'm the person that people are seeing me with Mwamba before Mwamba had something that I'm trying, wouldn't people be questioning to say, but suddenly this person is no longer there? Where is Ubuntu in that? Why have we completely shifted from comforting our friends, comforting those that are troubled? Instead, we have now, all we are talking about is the president. Now, the president, because the pain that we go through when we are mourning has nothing to do with the job title. Just like when the president falls ill, he's not immune to feel the pain. So I just wish we could pause for some time as Zambians, as we type, as we celebrate. I don't know what we are celebrating about. It is unfortunate that this mourning period has been cut short. I wish the president could have held on until the 23rd. I feel for him being the head, and with all this that is going on, nobody would assume the president is having a jolly good time. However, maybe we could have waited until the 23rd, then the next move.
Thank you, my dear sister.
I would like to remind, just a minute, just the last one. I would like to remind all of us that are calling in, as we sit and listen, let us not judge our friends who are mourning with family, because the family needs all of us in this time. Work will come, state funeral will come, but let us remember that there's a family that has lost a loved one. Thank you so much, Mamamba. Thank you for your time, and thank you for this program. Thank you very much. We appreciate it.
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you. The calls are many, the calls are numerous, the missed calls are many, literally in the hundreds. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
I will remain anonymous. I'm calling from
Ndola.
Okay, please make your contribution anonymous from Ndola.
Okay, I'm very disappointed because I feel the opportunity to go to the president, oh, I was thinking that in spite of what happened between the two of them, the previous scholar, just to make peace. Was a chief child.
Thank you, Mayo. Thank you, Mayo. Chins Chikosele, indeed, Chins Chikosele. Thank you very much.
Shows that we are lacking leadership in this country. All of two, Zambia tayari fish mwabera bitterness. Kono shamba groups ya waya UPND. When besides being a political, the leader for a political party, he was our father, a brother, an uncle. But I want to rejoice. When you look at it, that to have killed Zapa, where Charabantu, groups ya but if anything, let's move on, let's do that. Bitterness in Shaban to that's valid to say, not to feel moon too. What would think was a matter of your chat to Kalipa. So, in all, the president will soon have down because he's acting as a party leader, not as the president Gabata Chalo. And you would have made peace with him even in his death. But action yabo yatuland that is still a bitter person. All in another that is shown the party leadership is failed. Is completely failed. Thank you very much, Mr. Mamba.
Thank you, Anonymous from Ndola. Is doubts the leadership. Anonymous from Ndola, she doubts the leadership of the president because the president Wabomfia Chifukushi, he declared national mourning up to Monday, 23rd June. So why has he cancelled it in between? Because the talks have broken down. I thought we were supposed to invest further in the talks so that we have a breakthrough. And what is that demand that he can't yield to? Thank you. My brother, mute your other device and let's hear you.
Good evening, Mr. Mwamba.
Kindly speak up, my brother. Kindly speak up. You are a bit faint.
All right, thank you. Good evening. Good evening. Thank you, Mr. Mwamba. Good evening.
Thank you, my brother. Make your contribution. Tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Thank you very much. My full names are Charles Majoni Mwinga, calling you from Lusaka, Zambia.
Charles Majoni Mwinga. My brother, make your contributions.
Thank you very much. For me, it's really very unfortunate because first day, I can say, first day when I hate the demise of His Excellency, the former President of the Republic of Zambia, I felt bad. And it's really pained me because he was a humble man and we really loved him so very much. And we followed, the negotiations here and there. But only yesterday to be told that, no, the programs has changed, the body is not coming to Zambia. So now, really, should we continue holding the people, stop doing their businesses and so on and so on forth? I think for me, I'm supporting the president. What he has done is really great. The other thing is that
Mr. Mwinga, what is great? You've used a very powerful word, and I think you are well knowledged from the tone and depth of your discussion. What is great about the decision of the president?
Thank you very much. The decisions of the president has given, those, to the Zambian people, because there are those other people that were affected from the time when the president declared, the national mourning in the country. And therefore, I think those we are now relieved. But now going forward, what I'm seeing is that, the president has just opened the door. The door is still opened. For example, if the family of the late President Dr. Edgar Chagwa Lungu, rethink it to say, I think we need to negotiate. The door is still open. I think the president can be really sent off in a very dignified manner. So for me,
thank you, Mr. Mwinga. I think we've gotten your point that the decision of the president is great and that the door is open. Is there anything you'd like to contribute?
No. The other thing, before you cut me off, the other thing, my humble appeal to you, Bamwamba.
Yes.
Kindly advise the family. Advise them collectively. Let them really do the right thing. Let us send off our late, former Republican President, His Excellency Dr. Edgar Chagwa Lungu, in a very, very, very good manner, in a good way, so that his spirit can rest in peace than these things which is really happening.
Mr. Mwinga, I would also throw the question to you as you advise me to advise the family. I would also advise you to advise the president in whichever way you can. Mube wakateka chinchi cha kosa that you can't yield. Thank you, Mr. Mwinga. Oh my. We want to feel tuatusha mufile mwasendama. But it's like Zambians still want to talk. Good evening. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Good evening. Thank you. You're speaking to Mr. Hagai. I'm calling from Angola, Mourning province.
Mr. Hagai from Angola. Which province? Mourning. Okay, wonderful, Mr. Hagai. Make your contribution, my brother.
Thank you so much. I just want to contribute on the national address that the president was giving to the nation.
Thank you.
Over the national mourning. According to my own view, it was okay because many people, they were not working and they were just seated waiting for the burial. So after the president has announced that the national mourning is over by today, then I'm sure people, those who are doing their own business, they are able to go and do business. And also, the other thing is the door is still open for the family of the former president. As he said at the end, he said if the door is still open, so they can still negotiate, they can still come to the government, and the government can still send off the former president in the nice way. He just dismissed the program so that some other people can do them. Some people can do other programs so that they should not keep people for a long time. I think that's my idea from what the president of the republic has just said.
Thank you, Hagai from Angola in Mourning. Thank you, my dear brother, for that contribution. Good evening. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from, and make it brief.
This is K from Chilabombe.
Mr. K from Chilabombe, make your contributions.
Yes. The country of Zambia was built on certain fundamental principles by our forefathers like Kaunda. The land was built on unity, peace, and prosperity. During these circumstances that have befallen Zambia, like the funeral of ECL, this is an opportunity for the family and the government to get together, to work together as one people. One has to compromise, or both parties have to compromise. Looking at the issue, the government has compromised more than the family. The family is still bitter, which is not good for the nation because it affects each and every Zambian in one way
Mr. K, Mr. K, before you blame the family, Mr.
You who are in government and who are in contact with the families, it's high time you do certain things not for HH, but for Zambians, so that we Zambians can mourn our president in peace and in unity, without segregating anyone. Certain things can't go on without the president being there. there are certain things that the family doesn't. It seems that family doesn't want our president, who is HH, to attend the receival of the body. But at the end of the day, it diminishes his stature or his position at this particular moment, because he's the president.
Thank you, my brother. So thank you very much.
It's important for the family to let go of certain things, to let go of the bitterness.
No. Don't accuse the family of bitterness. No. Don't accuse the family. I think I would defend them. They are not bitter in any way. Their demands were very simple. Private transportation of the remains of the late president. They wanted the remains to land in Ndola for a funeral service in Ndola, and Petauke, and then Lusaka. Following the negotiation, the state expressed concern, security concerns, and they requested the family to drop that. The other demand was that the remains of the late president must be held at Chifwema, which matter was agreed to. Then the role of the head of state was also prescribed. The president was recognized as head of state, is the country's mourning, a former head of state, and his role was recognized, and there were certain requests that were made which now seem to have been breached. I think I thought I could make that clearly. There's no bitterness. Everyone has bent over to ensure that we have, at the heart of it, that we send our president, our late president, to dignified mourning. Good evening. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Yes, I'm calling from Kabwe.
Yes.
Yes, this is Dennis.
Yes, Dennis, make your contributions.
Okay, Honorable, just wanted to find out what do you think the family wants from the government, and what should be done within the course of the time? Because looking at the time right now, time has gone, and waited so much for the body of the president to be taken.
Okay. I think so far the impasse is just on the role of the president. For example, the family were surprised to find that there will be a church service at the airport. They were surprised that the president would receive the body. Yet in the body of discussion, what was there was that the president will officiate at a funeral for heads of states and people from the region on Sunday. Hello, my brother. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Oh, Mantumina. Let me reduce your volume here. Ninebo.
Vane vachanda kafundi. Mwewe na Australia. Na mona pama missed calls. There are so many who've been trying very hard. So I've called you on a private line out of respect. You're our senior elder brother, and I thought that you might have something to say, and you've tried on this public line, you have failed, and I thought I could accord you an opportunity. Please proceed.
Mkwai, in what I've seen, in fear about monarch number, this thing has extended. That's what people are missing. People don't realize what they are missing. Oh, PF Valeshana every day. Valeshana, Vamantu Vambo Kuchikari group. Ero Kairibam Dala Vamuenso. Mamone. Na deep in that hatred. Vamuenso. So, if I won't say, is giving time to the other people to regroup, because they talk about fire.
But if we're not politics.
Yes, that's why I won't say you are outside, you are doing whatever, and those people used to trouble Chilfiatayari. Now they are dancing to Chilfiatayari. You know, you don't entertain such kind of people. But that's why you received that call. So this kind of fear that they've got, all the confusion. I really don't blame the family. Me, I would be happy if the family decided whatever, let them be. Oko mperere.
Emka.
Natumina text and I even wanted to do something.
Emka.
You know, but everything has been thrown off.
Oh yeah. No, but I'll call you. Thank you, Yova Chandako Australia. Bakalamba besunga balefo kulanda tula wapele nshitabalanda po. He's been a leading light in our country. Supported President Hakainde Hichilema so much, and hello, please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Thank you, Ambassador Chanda from Indiana.
Oh yes, my brother Chanda from Indiana here in the US. Make your contributions.
Yes, I think this occasion is a lesson for our country, and I hope we learn and practice this lesson. It's about time that politics became about ideas, competing on the basis of ideas and not settling personal vendettas. It appears that since time immemorial, we elect people who use state power to settle personal vendettas. It's saddening that a former president was treated the way ECO was treated. It's very embarrassing for the country. I think the country is losing its standing in the region, in Africa, and the global sphere. You see, for me, what I feel is the president must just come down the high horse and say, I will respect the wishes of the family. If the late president left a will to say he doesn't want me to attend his funeral, I will delegate to the vice president. That can be done. The state funeral will still go ahead if the vice president attends it in place of the president, right? And the question I keep asking myself is, if we cannot resolve such an issue, are we truly a people that can solve the myriad of economic issues that we face? You see that? The acrimony in Zambian politics is beyond it. We allow others to insult political leaders because they belong to our political party, and that is okay with us. But we need somebody to step up and say, we are going to practice politics of respect. We are not going to tolerate any person that is going to insult back and forth just because they support us. Unless we do that, we're going to go through this cycle all the time. You understand, Ambassador?
Thank you very much, Machanda. And I'd like you to ask you to summarize.
Where this issue is settled once and for all. If the family has placed demands, let the government respect those demands. You understand?
Yeah.
It's not necessary. It's not necessary for the president to attend the funeral. As a matter of fact, the president can even schedule a trip outside the country during the burial period. That is not going to hurt his presidency. He will still remain president. The quicker we resolve this, the more time we have to focus on the real issues happening in the country. Thank you, Ambassador.
Thank you very much. And the family hasn't said the president must stay away. They agreed on which periods the president will participate. Allow me to take maybe the last 3-4 phone calls, and I think we'll have to rest. We've been going on for the last 3 hours. This is an emotive issue. It has affected the country. But probably we may have to come to an end. I'll take the next 5 questions as the last one. Good evening. Please tell us your name and where you're calling us from.
Good evening. How are you, sir?
I'm very well, thank you. Please make your contributions.
I'm following very well what is going on here. I don't know, although I've just joined now.
What is your name and where you are calling us from?
I'm calling from South Africa.
Okay.
Yes, I would like to know what is really a challenge between the family and the president of the current president. Why these people are not cooperating? Because we look at what has been happening from 2008. We had this situation with our ex-president here, Mr. Mwanawasa. Then we had Dr. Chiluba. We had also the Michael Sata's family. We had also the Kaunda's family. We had also the Lupia's families, and we never did such encounter before. So why is this happening now? Oh, can you tell us what is going on? Because as Zambian, we are behind. We do, like me, as a Zambian, despite I'm somewhere, but I'm behind. What is it that is going on? What is the conflict between these two people?
Thank you very much. From the demands I've seen, there's nothing insurmountable. It can be resolved. It should have been resolved by now. Zambia is a country that resolves wars. It brings peace to the region. This is not a matter the president can fail. And it's lack of leadership if he does. Good evening. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from. Good evening.
Good evening, Mr. Mwamba.
Good evening, my brother. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
This is Hichilema Michael calling you from South Africa.
Mr. Hichilema Michael, make your contribution, sir.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mwamba. I think in times like this, it is a time where people need to unite. And especially you, Mr. Mwamba, you are on record when one of our head of states died. The statements which you made about what the former head of state said when he dies. But you went against that and he quoted what the Constitution says. So what is so different today? What has changed to say let the family do what the government should do, listen to what the family is saying? Mr. Lungu was not just a messenger, no. He was a head of state, meaning when he dies, the state takes over. But today, what you have shown us during this trying moment that we are passing through. How many heads of state have died in Zambia? All our former head of state, they have all died. But honestly, this one, I don't know. I'll borrow what Sangwa said. In all the cases, like he says, the case of Dr. Kaunda became weak because Panji was eldest son. Okade differed with Kaweche, so the family itself was split on that particular matter. But the issue is to listen to the family. Even when the family listened, even when the state listened, at least they listened to Kaweche Kaunda. My views there were very, very clear. Is that, of course, the state has a role, and even in this funeral, the state has a role. We have not denied that, have we? The state has a role, and the state must play its role, but negotiate with the family. And the family has put up some demands. Agree on the demands. It's a give and take situation. So I thought I could clarify that particular matter, to hear from you. I'm counting. I know all of you are calling, but let's see. Good evening. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from. Good evening, Your Excellency, Ambassador. It's Sydney Njamba here calling from Johannesburg, South Africa.
Oh, wonderful. It's like the entire South Africa is listening today. Sydney, good evening. Please make your contributions.
Your Excellency, we've received the news of President Hichilema cancelling the national mourning with mixed feelings. It has actually just shown that the intentions that they had
were ill-minded, and they were not ready to actually uphold whatever was discussed in the discussions. I was privileged in one of the discussions with Honorable Malambo Ayimbe, and seeing the turn of events now, it's clear that the president and his advisors did not want whatever they were doing, whoever they sent here, they simply wasted their time, because in the end they did what different from what the people that were representing them did and said this side. So for me, I stand firmly with the Lungu family, and whatever decision that they are going to make, we shall support them. I've listened to other callers saying the president would have been given chance to mourn and receive, the body of President Edgar Lungu. It's not that he was not given a slot. He was given a slot, but he just needed to respect the program that was laid out and the agreements that the family and the entourage that came to represent him agreed upon. So it's very disappointing, and akafukushi babonfia na ifu ekafukushi tukabonfia mu 2026 pakuvote 2026 valeya.
Thank you very much. Atwa president wale wonfia chifukushi na mumka wonfia chifukushi. Nice one. Yeah. Hello, please mute the other device and make your contributions. Oh, he's gone. Good evening. Please tell us your name and where you're calling us from.
Good evening, Mr. Mwamba. My name is Mono from Connecticut.
Mono from Connecticut, yes. Please make your contribution.
Contribution yakwe bati umuchinshi wa malilo kushika. So the president besu responsibility ya kushitainshi wokwe bati the former president bashikwa, it so relies on his shoulder. So ukuba beno umuchinshi balungu kubashika. So he must do whatever it takes. If it means to negotiate further, or if it means to grant the family the wishes, so that bali abantu twachitashani twabashika nishero twabapera omuchinchi emkwai. So inenga chakwe bati nalikwata nkashiyandi nangu ndume yandi afwa ero abana bakwe n'abakashi bayi bati awe iwe tatulefwaya tuwiseko mwamona but ine ndefwa kwe bati uli omuntu ndume yandi nangu nkashi yandi alale mu kibote. What I'm simply going to do is to give them whatever it is to facilitate that omuntu achitashani ayatusha. So the step that the president should have taken should have been a step whereby both parties can find healing. Mamona. So after the step which he has taken, bambi batemwa, bambi tabatemenwe. But in the batenda step yakwe bati okay, I will step aside. Ngatapachi abachala baleyishani. Mamona. Ba president ngabache batawe in a day of national mourning na very up to this date. So as a family, whatever you are planning to do, make sure that you do it within this period, because this period ngayapwa takwakabe extension. There akuti mwamona tawe kashi bachina babela chance abaleko okulanda na family na bena they go back to them and try to negotiate again within that period. But ukisa lero nishi yaputuka baleko abantu bale mwena kwati nomba chimfukushi mamona kulepa kwa solution yakwe bati bonse abantu basekeramu abali involved nga balanda tawe kanshi nenkasangwa kufyedde yaso bonse kwebe na Zambia tukachita understand. Tapali no kakwata n'ekikonko but nga bayisa aputula ng'efine bakiputula tawe yapela bandi balashala n'ekikonko nomba healing pachalo yalayisa shani. That's my contribution.
Thank you very much. Thank you. We have to end the program. We have to. Yeah. Good evening. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Hello, Mr. Mwamba. I'm calling from the UK.
Yo lesale tusunga. Mwabomba shana imoko ku UK. Oh, endita kuzambia na kutalala sana. So imumli neshuko.
Bakamba, just a quick one.
Yeah.
Often in Galanda our family baba ECL. Bali mubukati. Edgar Lungu ni an head of state. Personally, national mourning itaringa ukanshua. Because that one he was the head of state. I know a lot of factors could be affected, but national mourning itaringa ukanshua. It's like a better example nangu. So to give this example, I'll give you the example. Umwana ngarerera umwana. Test affect my procedure, my plans by because mwana. So abona abakadipo abo family aba ECL. Despite him being a family man, that man was a president. I'm not supporting HH or I'm not supporting ECL, but this was supposed to be set down and baikala punch wata dialogue baikala kwa tifachana bankasha bapita po hapa na waipera ko time frame baika po time frame ati okay family to ampera ko 4 weeks na nguya shani mutontonga nyepo then tushofto arachita but all in all that one was a big man, the head of state. It should be 2 years national mourning. As long that man was the president, we should not forget that he was the president. So in our pen, put a lot of a mixed feeling. Yeah, canceling a national mourning.
Yeah,
I know it can affect a lot of business and progress.
Yeah, because it was declared already. Thank you very much. Yeah, cancelling the national mourning, which was already declared to run up to Monday, and giving up on negotiation for now probably has cast the president in bad light. Hello, good evening. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Hello, Vamwamba.
Yes.
Vamwamba calling from the Copper Belt.
Mr. Mwemba from the Copper Belt, make your contributions, my brother.
Yes. Vamwamba, considering what is happening, I think the head of state is lacking leadership here. You know the issue here, which is here. When the president, when the former president, the one who died in South Africa, went to South Africa there, he went on a private mission there. And a lot of the media was talking about the president has been out for a long time, like the way you said, he has been out from January. So as a result of this, when the president was going for medication, that's the same with Fukushima later. What does it demonstrate to the country? Sure, where you can use it. Fukushi. This is Fukushi. You know, we should separate between PF, UPND, government, and the family. The issue here now, it's about government, family. And when I say government, we are talking about us, everyone here, everyone is affected. And the family. You can't just, people now are concluding that the same with Fukushima when he went for medication, the same age Fukushima to say, I cancel this. Why didn't he just wait until it gets up to the day,
23rd
Monday,
June.
when he said national mourning will end on Monday. Thereafter, he would have addressed the nation. The nation, due to this and this and this, the national mourning has ended on Monday. So what we'll do, we'll tell you what will follow when we negotiate with the family. We want to unite. He's not uniting family to himself. He's uniting the entire Zambians, regardless of tribe and whatever. That's the only contribution I have, Bamwamba.
Mr. Mwemba, thank you very much, and thank you for that advice. But President Wabomveshe Chifukushi, and many people have seen through it. Yeah. Thank you very much, my brother. Oh, my dear sister is calling. Let me see if I can. Make your contributions quickly, and so that we can take the other last calls. Just a minute. My sister, good evening.
Good evening, sir. Hope you're fine.
Yes, I'm grateful that you are calling. Is this my dear sister Lillian Mutambo?
Yes. Yes, please.
Ah, okay. I'm honored that I can host you. Make your contribution, my sister.
Okay. I must say that the president's speech was very powerful. It was touching.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel that the national mourning shouldn't have been cut short.
Mm-hmm.
We have been listening to very credible lawyers like KBF and Vasangwa yesterday, who elaborated on a lot of issues. And what I always feel is, when the president is making certain decisions, he needs to seek advice before, going ahead with making certain decisions. I personally feel that the beef between President Hichilema and ECL will never go away unless there's a reconciliation of both families.
Yeah.
And it would have carried more weight if the president had traveled to South Africa and mediated with the family. Nabakalamba, we don't even need to be there to know what's going on. The family just feels like they're being pushed about. So many things are being changed. And then we have the Zambian people who feel, okay, the family doesn't care about us, who are the government who elected Walungu. But what they don't realize is this family saw the struggles of Walungu, which he never shared. We've never seen Walungu on a trip. We've never seen him in hospital. But this family saw him in hospital. So from their standpoint, we have to understand that it's hurting them. And if we can even have a president, his wife, go and see Mama Esther. It's very easy for these people to reconcile, but trying to use authority, power, you are the head of state, or people will say, oh, you are the man of the like in charge of the country, you do what suits you. They are the same people who tomorrow will be mocking and laughing to say you never listen to the Zambian people when he's no longer in office. And what we're seeing is history repeating itself. Every former president faces persecution, faces so many things. And this was supposed to be now a time to say, okay, we have learned from this. We are reconciling with the family. We are reinstating the benefits of ECL, even in his demise. And then whatever the family wants, we will do A, B, C, D. But you find cadres all over social media, all over, saying all sorts of things. And when you try to speak about something, they'll come and insult you. Who are you? And I know how these people are working. It's because UPND is in government today. When UPND is no longer in government, are they going to stand by Hakainde Hichilema in 2026 or whatever year when the same thing that he has happened to Walungu happens to him? So in this whole issue, God gave the president a chance to reconcile with the family during this period. And the best way would be for him to take his time off, since it was national mourning, to fly to South Africa, sit down even with the president of South Africa, even Mnangagwa, Museveni. These are people that the family knows and respects. It will carry more weight. So if Hichilema is like, okay, you are in charge, just shut down the national mourning. We've already declared up to Monday. Even Ichitumbi Tichaisa per Saturday. Private jets operate every day. You know, so if it's on a tram of Fukushi, to Alega, even the family will say, Mamona, gosh, the one good intentions. And already background, there's a lot of things. All they needed is assurance. And of course, Lungu had his wishes and feelings. But if IHH goes there, the family will say, look, he's no longer alive, we've reconciled, you preside over this funeral. So I think I wish our Mama Esther would come on board and just, you know, give a big hug to Mama Lungu. I know people are trying to justify what HH went through. And I'm trying to tell them that, look, once you get to that point, we will never finish this cycle. Another president will come on board, and that president will say the same thing. Uti, you did this to this one. So how are we going to stop this persecution on our former presidents? Yeah. Right now, as we speak, Wachiluba, yesterday was his anniversary.
14th, yes.
Find out if he has any assets left. He has nothing. They took literally everything from him. You know, even when the children met yesterday for the memorial, they went to a rented house. They've been promised by even this very government that they are going to give them back the properties, but they haven't. If I'm 19, what? You know, issues started at 2000, up to today, 2025. More than how many years has this man passed on? Close 14 years now. And the family is still trying to get these assets, trying to get this and that. So for the sake of the future, this thing needs to be stopped by the president himself, taking a step with the family. We don't need to be there to even know what has happened.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you, with this reconciliation, a lot will change. Personally, I would like to see Tasila Lungu in State House, even working with the president presently, like the way we are seeing Mwanawasa's daughter. But for her, it's like everybody's targeting her, posts everywhere. You know, with all these prophecies that are coming, she'll be president tomorrow. It's like everybody wants to see how now they can target her next and put her down. Is this how we're going to live? Is this what they call dirty politics? So for me personally, I just feel it's a whole long battle, which is not just physical, it's also spiritual.
Yeah, because that's how you end. Because you at least you know the things.
Hands, and then asking for that spiritual breakthrough through your lives, like you cancel that bondage, because it's gonna be generational. You know, even if to the third generation of Alungu, they will still remember what happened that time. The 10th generation of HH will remember what happened that time. And people will be there. When you try to post anything, they will say, but this is what happened to HH. But this is what happened to Alungu. So it will never end.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Lillian. Thank you, Lillian from the United Kingdom. She runs her own blog, and she's on YouTube, commanding good number of followers. And we thank you for your contribution, Lillian. Good evening, and tell us your name and where you're calling us from.
How are you, sir?
I'm very well, thank you. Who's calling?
I remain anonymous.
We're anonymous. You can contribute.
Yes, I think we're having a challenge in our country. The late president was Mr. Edgar Chagwarungu, was the president of Zambia, and he worked so well. Look at the developments, the roads, and a lot of infrastructure. Today, President HH is boasting about them, but he's failing to forgive the person that has left a lot of things that he's boasting about. Then today, the president is late. Nangu kwena umuntu akwatoroze tuwapata fene chitumbi Because what you're supposed to do is to reconcile with him in his death and move forward. But here, he has cancelled the national mourning, which is a punishment to each and every Zambian. And this is very bad.
Yeah.
It's extremely bad. Yes, we are mourning in our hearts. A lot of people are mourning in our hearts and in the arts, and a lot of them in their homes, which is not good. Okay, they made the arrangement to say they are going to do this and that, and everything we agreed upon. But suddenly, changes were made. So we thought the president is going to address the nation in a very good manner that will be favorable to those that are mourning. When you go to the social media now, you are going to see a lot of insults, and the people insulting are those we call praise singers. So how do you expect even the family of the late president is going to feel, because they are able to access the insults?
Nabasakisha kali kateka nabasakisha
so we don't
alela taba alenge fi niba family.
It's very, very unfortunate that where the president has taken that route. However, we are approaching the 2026 and things will unfold forth when that day comes, because people are bitter. People are bitter about this.
Thank you very much, my brother.
The reason they are trying to avoid the people to welcome the
body,
president's body at the airport, they know to be crowded. The same way they were avoiding the president to get into the street to jog, into the market to buy anything in the Catholic diocese, is the same way they are doing even when he's dead. It's not supposed to be like that, by Emmanuel. So they are scared. It seems the president is popular and the dead body is so much popular than the president who's a living president. Thank you. That's my contribution.
That they are afraid that the dead body is more popular than the president. Yeah, thank you very much. I think we have to come to an end. I need to read the letter for you, my dear audience, of the letter from the mother bodies. This is the Council of Churches in Zambia, CCZ, and the Evangelical Fellowship of Zambia, EFZ, and the Zambia Conference of Catholic Bishops in Zambia. This is a statement by the three mother bodies on the current situation in Zambia. And this is what it reads. It's dated 19th June 2025. The church has called for calm amidst uncertainty regarding President Edgar Lungu's burial. Grace, mercy, and peace will be with you from God the Father, from the Lord Jesus Christ, and from the Son of the Father, in truth and in love. 2 Joshua 1 verse 3. The three church mother bodies call upon members of the public to remain calm amidst the uncertainties surrounding the repatriation, funeral, and burial of the sixth president of the Republic of Zambia, Dr. Edgar Chagwa Lungu. We acknowledge the progress made between government and the Lungu family so far concerning the planned repatriation of the late president's remains, initially scheduled for Wednesday, 18th June 2025 at 14 hours. However, we've also noted that there have been subsequent changes communicated by the Lungu family. It is regrettable that the funeral of the former head of state remains in limbo. This state of uncertainty is affecting the general functioning of the nation, which remains in mourning. We therefore urge both government and the Lungu family to quickly find common ground in the spirit of mutual respect and national unity. We would like the Lungu family to understand that the grief they are experiencing is shared by the entire nation. Dr. Lungu served as Zambia's president, served the nation, and the nation deserves the opportunity
to mourn him with dignity. This moment should not be perceived as a moment of conflict between the Lungu family and certain individuals, but rather as a national loss that calls for collective mourning and respect. In African culture, disputes are often addressed after the burial, not during the funeral period, which should be marked by respect for the deceased, unity and harmony. We therefore call upon for the timely and amicable resolution of this matter in respectful and considerate manner. Furthermore, we note with concern the emergence of insensitive commentary and mockery surrounding the ongoing development. While the public have a right to express opinions, we caution against this during the solemn occasion in subject of jokes, ridicule. Scripture reminds us that there is time for everything, and clearly there is time for mourning and reflection. As a church, we wish to assure the nation that we are actively engaged both publicly and behind the scenes to mediate and foster dialogue between the two parties. The Lungu family needs healing. The government needs healing. The Zambians, which is a nation in mourning, also needs healing. We all need healing. May God grant us peace and help us remain anchored in our national values, unity, love, and harmony. That is a statement that was released by three church mother bodies as counsel and guidance and spiritual nourishment during this difficult period. As I end the program, many people are asking for my views about this matter. Let me just quickly go to see if there's any matter that I can answer to. Okay. Patricia from Sweden asked me that what should be done. She personally asked me. She offered her opinion. She said there was now failed leadership that was being demonstrated and there was lack of wisdom. What should be done is, first of all, the national mourning shouldn't have been cancelled. It was already declared the first 7 days and the extension of 9 days. The 9 days hasn't come to an end. It's coming to an end on Monday. By cancelling this, and also the choice of words that were used by the president, I would have been more careful. He has unleashed his supporters to literally, demean, defame, and insult the family in bereavement. There was no need to heap the blame. I think this is a shared failure by all of us. The president must have acknowledged that he has failed. Maybe also the family has failed, but he shifted the burden of failure to the family. There are many things the president would have done. For example, choice of his emissaries should have been done more careful. And even when this is a period of sensitivities, very, very sensitive period, especially for the family, but that appeared not to have been considered. The period of national mourning shouldn't have been cancelled. It's already declared up to Monday. Everyone in the nation planned around that way. And an amicable solution, I think, was not far-fetched. For me, the hurdles that have been overcome so far are bigger than the hurdles that haven't been. It's not an insult to the president when they say, let's agree where the president will be, and they agreed. If the president has a fresh perspective that, for example, he wants to receive the body, I think that's not a problem. If the same issue was communicated to the family was kept in limbo, the family was not communicated to about these developments that were done and the program that was issued. So it departed from what they had agreed. What should be done? We understand that, I think, government wants to table a very controversial document, the National Constitutional Amendment Bill 7, to Parliament on Tuesday, and maybe they want that period to lapse before they can go back to period of national mourning. In my view, what should be postponed is a tabling of the Bill 7 because it's more controversial than even this funeral. Remember what I've always said, Zambia has resolved conflicts and wars. We've brought independence to the region. We deal with big things. This is not one a president and his advisors can fail. There was another question. I think I've answered. For me, that's what I would do. We like I said, for me, I regret some of the words used by the president. Lillian says it was a remarkable address, it was a good address, and the president shouldn't have cancelled the period of national mourning. I agree. But the choice of words, look at the address. When the president shifts the burden, he shifts the failure. He says, I've done everything I could do. I even extended the national mourning. Look, and they changed. He says they changed and we were waiting for the body, it didn't come. He's absolving himself that I've done nothing wrong. All I've done is well. Yet he knows that that's not true. He knows this should be a shared blame. And in fact, the responsibility is bigger on him as head of state to ensure that this process goes on smoothly. We end today with this daily updates that we've been giving you. Unless there's dramatic, many people are calling. I'm so sorry that we can't take any of your calls anymore. It's been 3 hours. We want to call coin. We will postpone this broadcast to tomorrow, same time, if there will be need to, and if there will be dramatic development. But the remains of the late president still remains in South Africa. The former first lady, who's a widow, still remains stuck in South Africa. There has been no resolution. As when I was coming to broadcast, there still has been no determination. The President Hakainde Hichilema, has insisted the remains of the late president will be put to rest. What is showing that in the event that the family requested that the body be buried in South Africa, is telling you that he's going to object to that decision and is going to inform the government of South Africa that he has objected. So the standoff will continue. Although the family can just request for burial permit and put the late president to rest, President Hakainde Hichilema has upped the game. He says President Lungu will be buried in Zambia. In short, he's saying, whatever you are doing, plan around my decision that the president will lie in Zambia. Again, and you should have used better choices of word. And the president must not be careless in his choice of words. Because that means you are unleashing your supporters, you are unleashing your vuvuzelas now to attack the family that is currently in grieving. I think that's what is regrettable about that address. I'll end by the following videos just to update yourself of where we're coming from and where we are.
The impasse surrounding the funeral and repatriation of the body of Zambia's 6th president, Edgar Lungu, from South Africa to Zambia has now been resolved. Both the government and family representatives announced the development during a joint media briefing in Sandton, Johannesburg. The resolution of the standoff now means Zambians will be accorded a chance to mourn their 6th head of state with dignity, a move that has been praised by the negotiation delegation.
We are so happy that ultimately the country, the different functions that were there, have now held hands, they've now come together as one, so that we together move forward and see that our son is buried with the respect and the dignity that he so much deserves.
This has been a very, very difficult phase. And it has been a joy to see what God has done today, to see the family and the government team in a joint press briefing presenting to the nation the fact that even though there were some hurdles, these hurdles have been overcome. That speaks of who we are.
But let us understand that as individuals, we are nothing, but as a nation in totality, we are something. And therefore, we should look at this situation from that perspective.
The late president, who died in South Africa, will now be put to rest on Monday, June 23rd, following the extension of the mourning period. Henry Himonde for Zanis News in Sandton, Johannesburg, South Africa.
Fellow countrymen and women, it is with heavy hearts, yet with profound respect, that we address the nation today. We wish to confirm that the arrangements for the repatriation and burial of our late sixth president, His Excellency Mr. Edgar Chagwa Lungu, who passed away on June 5, 2025, at Mediclinic Mediforum Hospital in Pretoria, Republic of South Africa, have been concluded. I wish to put it on record that the government of the Republic of Zambia officially granted passage for the sixth president to come to South Africa for treatment. Professor Njovu, the official doctor of the late president, wrote to me as Secretary to Cabinet, informing us of the planned travel. I responded, Professor Njovu, that as a citizen of Zambia, any citizen traveling out of the country, the government of the Republic of Zambia provides support as long as treatment is outside the country. And I offered that we get Dr. Njovu and our Ministry of Health Permanent Secretary to discuss so that we could support the sixth president in his passage to South Africa. However, it is on record, Professor Njovu wrote back to me advising me that this was for my information and not for any support. So the passage was with the full knowledge of the government of the Republic of Zambia, and no officer was given any instruction to stand in the way of the coming of the president. Secondly, efforts were made, again these are on record, to support the president while he was in South Africa. However, with the history and the relationships, this did not come to pass. Now, in accordance with the family's wishes and the dignity befitting the service of the sixth president to our nation, a state funeral shall be held and shall be presided over by the President of the Republic of Zambia, Mr. Hichilema, culminating in the former president's burial on Monday, 23rd June 2020.
Number one, that the body of the late President Lungu shall be transported together with the family from Lanseria Airport in South Africa to Zambia on Wednesday, 18th June 2025, using a private charter made available to the family by well wishers. Secondly, that following the arrival and receipt of the body by family members in Lusaka, full military honors will be conducted at the Kenneth Kaunda International Airport, after which the body shall be taken to the funeral house in Hichilema, where it will lie instead. Thirdly, that the body of the late former president will be taken to Mulungushi International Conference Center on Thursday 19th June, Friday 20th June, and Saturday 21st June to enable members of the public to pay their last respects from 09 hours to 16 hours, after which it shall be returned on all days to the funeral house in Hichilema to lie instead. That the state funeral that will host foreign dignitaries shall be held at Mulungushi Conference Center on Sunday 22nd June, and the body of former President Lungu shall be taken to the venue and returned to Hichilema after the event, where it will lie instead. That a valedictory session will be held at the Supreme Court grounds in honor of former President Lungu, a lawyer by profession, on Monday, 23rd June, to be followed by a church service on the same day in the showgrounds in Lusaka, one that would be conducted by His Grace Archbishop Alik Banda. That the body of the late former president shall always lie in state at the funeral house in Chwema and only be taken away for the above stated functions during the day, after which it shall be returned to the funeral house every day to lie in state at the conclusion of these events. That the body of the late president shall always be accompanied by a relative, the aide-de-camp, and the former president's personal physician. That the period of national mourning shall be extended, and that the two parties shall always consult and agree on who speaks at all events. And further, to avoid the confusion that has been ongoing relating to the Patriotic Front Party, that Honorable Given Lubinda will speak on behalf of the Patriotic Front Party. It is important to emphasize that the family is proceeding based on the guarantees given by the government of the Republic of Zambia that they will not deviate from our agreement or betray the trust of the family and the wishes of the former president. The family hopes that this outcome will bring this matter to a close and avoid further trauma to the family and millions of affected ordinary Zambians. We wish to express our heartfelt gratitude to the Zambian people at home and away who gave the late former president their love, both in life and in death. Your outpouring of love has strengthened us,
including our former Vice President, Mr. Enoch Vindele, His Royal Highness Chief Mumbi, our Foreign Affairs Minister, the Secretary to the Cabinet, and all others involved in the search for a reasonable, inclusive, and amicable resolution over the unfortunate impasse relating to the state funeral. We express sincere gratitude to President Cyril Ramaphosa and the people of South Africa for their exceptional cooperation and indeed compassion. We acknowledge those citizens, including business owners, whose operations have been affected during this difficult time. We thank you for your resilience, patience, solidarity, and calmness during this time. As you are all aware, our government has made numerous efforts to engage the family and representatives of the late president in order to reach consensus in this matter. By last Sunday, the 15th of June, a mutual understanding was achieved and expressed through the joint press briefing held in South Africa. This breakthrough brought relief to the nation, and we were prepared to receive the remains of the late 6th Republican president on Wednesday, 18th of June. It was agreed that this was to be followed by programs that would have culminated in a dignified burial on Monday, the 23rd of June. By virtue of this positive development, we extended the mourning period by another 9 days, and we began to fulfill all of our commitments towards the state funeral with full honors. Yesterday, June 18th, the people of Zambia were prepared to receive the remains of our former president, but were surprised by the family's reversal of the agreed course of action. At our request, the South African government prepared extensively with military honors mounted by the South African Defense Force, who did so in vain, as the former president's body was not availed by the family for repatriation to Zambia. For this unfortunate situation, we extend our sincere apologies to President Ramaphosa, the government, and the people of South Africa. Fellow citizens, our country cannot afford a state of indefinite mourning. We've done everything possible to engage the family of our departed 6th Republican president, and we've reached a point where a clear decision has to be made. Given these circumstances, I therefore wish to inform the nation that as of the end of today, the 19th of June 2025, this particular national mourning period is officially over. This will allow the country to begin to return to some normalcy. Mr. Lungu was not only an ordinary citizen, but our 6th Republican president. While we recognize that he belongs to a family, he also belongs to the nation of Zambia. It is therefore correct that our 6th Republican president should be buried in Zambia with full honors and not in any other nation. In the meantime, we urge our citizens to maintain calm and orderliness. As we have stated before, during this difficult time, no amount of lawlessness will be tolerated. Let us remain united as a nation and maintain the peace we are known for. In this spirit, we say to the Lungu family, and indeed the people of Zambia, our hearts remain with you. Our doors as government remain open for further engagement as appropriate. May the soul of our departed former Republican President, Mr. Edgar Chagwa Lungu, rest in eternal peace. May God bless you all. May God.
Mazina yangu neo ni Nebo Betha Lungu. Ninebo nkashia kwa Edgar Chagwa Lungu. Chagwa Lungu emwa ichowandi uko nka ine panuma. Nomba ndefu ayokulanda kuchalo cha Zambia uko ati mumfwe ifyondelanda munivele maningi vamene vunufunola vila. Nifuna kulavila kuti uyu muvili wa Chagwa wamene utudoselana pali zino ntawi taoneka monga seyo lomba tawika mumanja ya mwine Mulungu niya kuti azive viti kuti tichite pali zino ntawi tifuna tinkale pasi tikambilane monga banja tizive viti kuti tichite osati seyo te banja tuodoselana na boma tifuna kuti tinkale pamozi tike maganizo pamozi lomba tikunga kuva kuti mailo statement ya chinja lomba seyo te babanja titolepo chinji so pora vila vonse hivyo. That's why amakebi Zulu nievunu pasa mpamvu neo ne sister wao kuti atilavilile ku ziko la Zambia viti kuti vikonkepo vitufuna kuti tichite. Nineo nuva pa mpamvu amakebi ozitolera lini mpamvu mubeka bene
Fellow countrymen and women, brothers, sisters, and everyone who's listening in or indeed watching us. This is a statement for and on behalf of the Lungu family relating to the burial and funeral of the late President Edgar Chagwa Lungu. As the public may be aware, we had engaged government on the arrangements relating to the burial of the late 6th Republican President of the Republic of Zambia, President Edgar Chagwa Lungu. Following a joint briefing between family and government, we came to an agreed position that the mortal remains of President Edgar Chagwa Lungu would be repatriated today, the 18th of June, 2025. It was agreed, among other things, that the body would at all times lay in state at the official residence of the deceased in Hichilema. It was further agreed that parties would jointly make decisions upon consultation. However, the family has noted with regret that there have been attempts to subvert the spirit of the agreement that the family and the government got into by engagement into the following on the part of the government. On the 16th of June 2025, a statement to the public was released by Road Development Agency stating that they would be carrying out repair works of the road from Crossroads 7 kilometers onwards. As the public may know, this is a road that leads to Chifwema, the official residence of the former president. It is also part of the program and agreement that at all times the body would be moving from Chifwema to Mulungushi Conference Center for purposes of body viewing, the state funeral, as well as the burial service on the 23rd. However, the notice from RDA put it across that the road would be under maintenance. When this was brought to our attention, we advised the Secretary to the Cabinet that we weren't comfortable with these works as they tended to go against the agreement that we had. When this was brought to their attention, the said works were suspended until further notice. However, on the 17th of June 2025, the Secretary to the Cabinet issued a statement restricting people from receiving or at least witnessing the arrival of the remains of the former president. This notice was issued without consultation with the family, and further, no opportunity whatsoever was given to the family to indicate whom they wished to invite, if at all the attendance was by invitation, nor were they given any chance to say anything as regards the said invitation. When the Secretary to the Cabinet was engaged, he only stated that there were security concerns, which concerns still have not been stated to the family. Following that statement, the next thing was that there was a program for the arrival of the body at Kenneth Kaunda International Airport. This program suggested that upon arrival at Kenneth Kaunda International Airport, the body would be taken to a designated place for a church service, and thereafter it would be received by President Hakainde Hichilema at the airport. This position was not an agreed position with the family, and the program was made without consultation with the family. When this matter was made known to the Secretary to the Cabinet, he stated that the same was released in error and was a draft, and as such should not have been released. Before long, yet another statement, which they termed a combined program, was released, which essentially contained the same, but further went to suggest that on Thursday, the 19th of June 2025, President Hakainde Hichilema would lead the body viewing at Mulungushi International Conference Center. This program as well was arrived at without consultation with the family. For this reason and many more, the family finds it very difficult to believe that the government will stick to their end of the agreement, and have resolved, sadly so, that the mortal remains of President Edgar Chagwa Lungu will not return home today. It is our hope that someday his remains will be repatriated back home and buried. I thank you.